All right, welcome back to No Fugazee podcast. We just did a stream with debate night, and it's a storm here in Pennsylvania, so we lost connection, but we're back. So everyone that's tuned in, we're gonna go ahead and run that intro again since we started a new stream, and we're gonna get back into normal scheduled programming with debate night. Let's get it. Actually, Gabby, off. You done. And you want to leave too? This is how our relationship goes. God over man, man over woman, woman over children. All right, we are back. Hey, everyone that was tuning in to the last stream that went ahead, we lost internet connection. So, because it's a storm here in Pennsylvania where my studio is located, and it just, snapped out, lost that connection. So I had to redo it, an entire new stream. I'm going to have to come up with something so that doesn't happen again. But yeah, we are back. Debate night, video number 2. We'll wait till some more people to get in here because I had a lot of people in here, a lot of supporters that was on that last stream. I believe it was 3 or 4 men from Nigeria that, gave me my kudos and said that they loved the podcast. And I think another guy that was living in Italy and Australia. So we got supporters for No Fugazee podcast, for No Fugazee podcast all across the world, literally. That's dope. So let's start it again with debate night. Once again, if you want to go ahead and join the stream, click the first link in the description to join the stream. I'm trying to get some haters in here or people that have different opinions. People that support the podcast, you're definitely welcome. But it's going to be quick. I'm going to get you in and out because I'm trying to get to some people with different perspectives and different opinions to give y'all some good content like we normally do on debate night. We got the links in the description. Not going to go over that because that was in the last stream. And I think a lot of people that was tuning in before is tuning in now. So y'all know, click the links in the description, support the podcast, purchase the merch. We got some new merch dropping soon, but we got already merch in there. Got the Mr. Man glasses. If you need some coaching, go ahead and click the link for the one-on-one coaching. I'll help you out in masculinity, dating and relationships. I also do couples coaching, and I do media and marketing coaching as well. If you want to get your social media up or market any products that you have. All right, without further ado, we got Brian Thompson. Let's bring you on up. Welcome to No Fugazee podcast. Where you from? Brian? Nope, he went out. All right. We got Myron Jones. Yo, what's going on, brother? Welcome to No Fugazee podcast.
What's up, man?
What's going on, brother? How you?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Hey.
Yeah, what's up? Talk to me.
How you feel about that message I sent you the other night about the I don't know. I know you looked at it, but you didn't respond to it. But if she can abort, he can abandon.
Oh, the abandon one. Yeah, no, that's like tit for tat type of stuff. As far as legally, that's the notion. Well, as far as legally, I see why someone would say that is because, well, if I can abort, but, this is half his kid, but I can still abort, shouldn't, and, legally they can go ahead and do that without the man's permission. And then the thinking, right? When you're trying to think about things, you're thinking like, okay, well, why can't I abandon, without any repercussions?
Right.
That just ain't how life works. And I don't think it should work like that. Like, for instance, I don't believe in aborting, right?
Me neither.
So,
me neither.
Yeah. So then it's like, well, since it's, legal in regards to the states, right? Whatever state you're living in, it's legal. Just because that's legal, we shouldn't make the abandoning process, not saying that it's people do it all the time, but they get hit with that child support when they get found.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I think that's just, the thinking of people trying to play tit for tat, and it doesn't get anywhere. It's a feminine way of thinking.
Yeah, I really don't, to be honest with you, I don't condone it, but I get why men are coming back with that pushback because, women are blaming men for not being there, not being in the household, not this, not that. But they can jump up and have an abortion, but
Yep.
let a man to choose to abandon, and he's all in the wrong. But you won't
Yeah,
never in the wrong for aborting.
Yeah, it's a double standard. I know what you're saying, but you never want to succumb to the female's way of thinking and match her energy.
Right.
Never want to
Most
match the
definitely.
energy of a female. So whatever they doing, you don't want to never do the tit for tat. But I understand what you're saying as well. I get it, and I get why someone will post that. But yo, Myron Jones, man, I appreciate the support, man. Yo, share the
love,
podcast, man. Let's try to get some haters in here, man, so we can
All
have
right,
some
my man.
debates.
All right.
Blessings to you, brother. Have a good one.
You too, man.
All right, we got Roy Cuffey. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. Man, this brother look like Beetlejuice, man. Where you from? This man is dark as night. All I see is teeth. All I see is teeth and a white around your eyes, brother.
Hold on, bro.
Where you from?
Sorry for the language.
Okay, and now you in the light. All right, that's a little better. All right, there we go, man. There we go.
What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? Welcome to No Fugazi Podcast. Where you from?
Trinidad.
Trinidad. You in Trinidad right now?
Right now.
That's dope, man. Talk to me. What you got for me today?
Well, I have a situation that happened with me and wifey. I want to get your opinion on it.
Sure. I'll be happy to give my opinion. You said that's your wife?
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me. What's up?
All right. So, last weekend, we was hanging out with some friends.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a group setting. So everybody was talking to everybody. But I had this one friend of mine before Square. We was having a separate conversation. And wifey was having her separate conversation with some others. And in between the whole convo, she turned to my friend and she was like, "What are y'all talking about?" And he was like, "Mind your business." So she turned to me like, she found the way he dealt with her disrespectful. So I turned to her and I said, "Hey, relax. Two men talking, even self-fiancé like that, you kind of butted in a kind of way." So I told her, "Hey, relax, two men talking." And I left it at that. And she...
You said, know your place.
Right. Or
two men are talking, know your place.
Yes. That was my words verbatim. Know your place. So she got offended by it. And I continued to tell her, "Hey, two men talking, know your place." And she's like, so she found it disrespectful and she wanted to know if I'm going to say anything to him about the way he responded to her. And it caused a whole lot of bacchanal.
Got it.
What's your
question?
Was my response disrespectful or legit?
Okay. This is a good question, man. And it's I'm only laughing because I'm not laughing at you two. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you two. I'm only laughing is because I respect the courage of you joining a live stream, and explaining your situation that you and your wife is having.
Like to be real, no Fugazee. That's why I support the podcast.
Fugazi. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. So, can you put the camera on her as well?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna ask. You know what? I'll just answer your question directly. Your question was, with what you said disrespectful, or did you speak out of line to your wife?
And we were in the company of friends. It wasn't just the three of us. It was
In the company of friends. Yep.
Yeah, we call it a line, but it was in the company of other persons.
I understand.
So that be embarrassed.
So I'll be direct, and I'll be respectful to both of you as well. Can I have your name, young lady?
I'm Leah, Leah.
Leah. Okay. And I'll answer your question directly to you, Roy. No, you did not speak out of line, and no, you were not disrespectful. Leah, your wife, was actually speaking out of line, and she was the disrespectful one. Furthermore, Leah, you have to understand when a man is... Okay, I'll explain why. Furthermore, Leah, you have to understand that when men are speaking and you are in a public space, that's what the man is doing, and you follow his lead. He doesn't follow your lead. So if you're going to interrupt, right? And even though another man said, hey, mind your business, and then you get upset like, wait, what do you mean? No, you should mind your business, because there are men speaking. If your man, Roy, wants you to join the conversation, he would speak to you and get your opinion or perspective on a conversation by saying, hey, Leah, come here, come on over. Yeah, meet the guys, and he would introduce you the proper way instead of you budging in a conversation, right? Now, let's just strip everything, all layers apart. Because I'm just speaking about the hierarchy of a relationship when the man is the leader. But let's just strip it all down to even if it's not a relationship. If you go ahead and get in someone else's conversation and you're like, you see a group of people conversing and you're like, you stick your neck in it like, hey, what are you guys talking about? Everybody that's in that group has the right to say, none of your business, peace be gone, right? And that's not disrespectful. You are the one actually being disrespectful, budging in their conversation. The proper way to do things is to do things, you want to have manners. So even if you're not in a relationship and you see a group of people talking, the proper way to do things is, hey, excuse me, my name is Leah. Yeah, I heard all of you speaking over here, and I just was interested in and wanted to know what you were speaking about. And I'm sure if you would have if any human being is going to try to join a group discussion like that, they will get a good response. They would get a response like, okay, we're speaking about so-and-so, but it's between us. Please excuse yourself. You wouldn't feel disrespected from their response because you wasn't disrespected coming in. Does that make sense? So that's just in a general conversation. Let me get your response, okay. Leah. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts is that is typically me in a circumstance where if it is I come up on him, or let's say one of his friends call him outside, because we lie him a lot in the streets down here. I would not, if I have to interrupt that conversation, I'll say, excuse babe, or 1 minute or whatever, and I won't even inquire. So if you ask him, it's not typical of me to interrupt, because we've had conversations where he's explained that, because in
Leah, let me ask you, if it's not typical of you to interrupt the conversation when men are speaking, why did you find it typical in that moment to interrupt them?
Right, because in that moment, he was actually my guest. It's a street line that we were having, and I invited him, so he walked across. So it was my mainly group of friends. That person just happened to be his friend that I never met there before.
Okay, so you wanted to be nosy. and you wanted to
No, 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 no.
think like, okay, well, I don't want Roy to get all this attention. What's going on, Roy? You getting so much attention? This is my little thing going on. That's what it sounds
No,
like.
no. It's not even. It's not even that. It's just that's why the response was a little thing. So the way everyone was conversing, everyone was is a Trini thing.
Yeah, it was
Everyone, it was a group setting, but it was some 2-on-2 conversation, and then somebody will jump in that conversation, boy, and then jump back in. That's the vibe we were at. That is how we line. Right? It don't have to be no excuse me, nothing. It's like, hey, you're talking nonsense, boy, and they just jump in. Or that's how the line literally starts. Two people in a road arguing and people jumping in. Now I understand why he felt disrespected because he was having a personal conversation. It wasn't a conversation within the group, and then I didn't when I came, I asked to enter the conversation. So I completely agree with that because I believe that is disrespectful.
So
But
what
I did
part
not
don't you agree
that
with?
the part I did not know what the actual in actuality, I did not know it had turned into a personal conversation because it was a group setting, right? So even though he and him got into that conversation, I was not aware of that, right? So what I wanted in that moment is for him to understand me to know that I wouldn't jump in a conversation with him and anybody, female or male. Well, she not a female conversation, but we stick to the males,
Okay,
right? Which when I typically don't do that. So I
and
misunderstood the situation.
you misread the room. You misread the
Yeah.
room. You didn't really read the room properly. So, and
No.
mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. That is totally fine.
Right. My issue was him allowing another man to raise his voice at me
Uh-huh.
and embarrass me. Another thing, I didn't want him to jump on him, but just address it at the very least. Because I looked
Yeah.
at him, I didn't even address his friend
Yep.
directly. I just looked at him and to let him know that because I spoke to him earlier that night and I told him I don't like how your friend is speaking to me.
Tell him what was my response.
Because in the midst of the conversation, the group conversation, every time I speak, he used to say, hush, 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 right? So he was doing that.
Let it be alone.
But
Okay, so he
generally,
was doing that he does that generally to everybody. Are you the only woman that he does that to? Or he's like that with every
that's
woman?
not everybody. But that was the first night. So I had told him,
Okay,
and
well, real quick, let's slow down. Let's take it point by point. So you
yeah,
said that your Roy has a friend, and his friend, if someone he doesn't take disrespect lightly. He seems like he's a man of order. If he's speaking or if someone
very
jumps in and says something, he's like, "Hey, calm down, hush your mouth. Me don't want that." I get it. I
yeah,
understand.
On point, bro.
I get it. I truly understand that. But the part that you have to understand is that manipulation happens because I don't want you are married and I don't want
no,
manipulation to happen.
yeah, we have a child together.
You have a child. Yep. So
And we've been together for 4 years. Yeah, we have a
for
1 year old.
1 year old, and you're married, right?
Not legally.
Not legally, but you together living in a household. You have a family.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
not married. Yeah, in Trinidad. Yeah,
Together for a certain amount of years, living together.
living as man and wife,
Got you.
everything. Just yeah.
Okay. So here's what I want you to understand, and both of you to understand. Manipulation happens when you focus on the effects instead of going to the cause, the root, right? So you, Leah, you are focusing on the effects of things, right? You did something and then you got a reaction that you didn't like. So you're focusing on the reaction that you got, and you're also focusing on the reaction that your husband didn't give. You was expecting him to react and to shut down his friend, but you didn't get that. So everything you're focusing on is effects. Okay. And I want to tell you that that's manipulation. You're trying to manipulate the situation that you guys went through. The facts is that the cause of the matter is that you rudely interrupted a personal conversation, right? And not only that, you already just explained that that Roy's friend, he's He doesn't take disrespect lightly. He's like, hey, when I'm talking, hush. You just explained that you know the type of character that his friend is. You already know that his friend is that type of character, meaning that he wants order. He he respects the hierarchy. If I'm speaking, don't interrupt me. This is an A-B conversation. See your way out of it. You understand what I mean? And that's how certain people are. That's how certain men are. And that's how certain women are too. And that is totally fine. Nothing is wrong with that. So you're focused on the effects, but meanwhile, you're not focusing on yourself because you are the one that caused this to happen. And that's what we're focusing on in this conversation. And the reason why you caused this to happen is because you don't respect the hierarchy. God over man, man over woman, woman over children, right? So when two men are speaking or a group of men are conversing, guess what? You let the men speak. Not only that, you don't understand that if you don't understand that you should have manners when you approach one person or a multitude of people in a group setting that's speaking. You want to say, excuse me, my name is so-and-so. Or if you know these people, excuse me, I wanted to know this. And I'm sure if you say, excuse me, politely, you would get a better reaction. So the cause is that your actions in that situation is what caused all of this. Not Roy's lack of reaction, not Roy's friend reaction. You were the cause to it. Furthermore, to answer your question, right? To answer your question in detail, you're asking, should Roy had said something to his friend? Well,
his voice at me in front of people like that, yeah, I think you got a time and place for that as well. Even if I misread everything. Yeah.
We'll get to that, but I need you to
I understand all that. So just keep in mind, I misread the room. He's never had this issue with me. I'm a grown man, and I know my place in terms of when I'm with my man. That's not
understandable. That is a good thing. That is a good thing. And mistakes happen. We're all human beings. But I want, and that's good that you're taking accountability. You said that you misread the room. That's good. I still want you to understand that you are the cause of it. So we can speak about the effects, but speaking about the effects is going to start to manipulate. Speaking about the effects, what I don't want it to manipulate you from taking away that you caused this to happen. But we're going to get to the effects. So when you spoke and Roy's friend, said, exactly what did he say to you?
He said, mind your business.
He said, mind your business. Okay. Roy's friend said, mind.
I was in close proximity to him, so it came as it felt like an attack to me. It was very disrespectful. The how, not the why.
Got it. He said, mind your business. First thing is, you know him and you already know how he is. You just explained that he is like this, not only with you, but with everyone, right?
Yeah, I met him that night, yeah.
Got it. And he was like that with everyone.
Yeah.
You're looking for an action from your man. And it's only two actions he can give. One action would potentially put himself in danger and put you in danger. The other action is the action that what he did is because you are disrespecting. This is an A-B conversation and you do need to know your place. That's the action that he took was, no, woman, mind your business because we're speaking here. The action that you were looking for would have potentially, if he would have reacted, when two men converse, we always know that there's a level of physicality that can take place if the conversation gets a little too aggressive. Two men know this. We could be friends for 10 years or we could be friends for 10 minutes. We know this, or we can not be friends at all. So if he would have reacted the way that you was expecting him to react by telling his friend that he was speaking to, hey man, calm down, man, shut up, don't talk to my woman like that. Then his friend like, hey man, you need to control your woman, which is facts. He do need to control his woman. And he even knows that's why he told you to mind your business. You get what I'm saying? But let's just play it out hypothetically, right? Let's say if it escalated and he tells his friend, hey man, don't tell my woman to mind her business. And his friend like, come on, bro, you get your chicken order. And he's like, I do got my chicken order. He like, no, you don't, bro. This and this and this. And a tussle happens. When two men fight, we're not fighting as like, slap boxing or anything. And it's like, oh, poke you or I'll poke you here. No, we fight till death. You disrespect me or my mother, I'm putting you down. It's till death. Roy, am I correct?
Right. Yep. Yeah, right.
Roy knows. If you're going to get into a fight, it ain't just no little fist fight. I'm trying to hurt you and put you down. I don't care how long we've been friends for. I'm trying to hurt you. Unless we family, it's a little bit different. But with that being said, hypothetically, hypothetically, the reaction that you expected Roy to give his friend would have potentially put his life in danger or his own friend's life in danger, because if he beat his friend up, or not only that, it could have put your life in danger, right? Because his friend could have hit you, or his friends maybe has friends at that event, or your friends have friends at that event. And it could have went way left where maybe Roy's friend could have lost his life. You get what I'm saying? Obviously, Roy's friend is outnumbered. Yeah, obviously, Roy, like you just explained, this is something that you put together and everyone there is mostly your friends. So Roy's friend is outnumbered, right? So if it would have escalated, your friend probably would have got chipped. Am I correct, Roy? He would have got beat down. Right, Roy?
Everything is on my side because it's in a big 3 hour.
But does this all make sense, Leah?
It makes sense, but it's a hard pill to swallow.
It is a hard pill to swallow.
And as a mother now, like the mother of his child now, and thinking like forever now, I think everything is forever. And I'm thinking like certain things, it's hard for a woman to be a wife. And I'm seeing that now. And so, yes, I agree, but it's like, I just don't like how he talked to me. And then on top of that, he talked.
Leah, I don't think you truly do understand, Leah. Let me just
Leah,
let me give you another perspective. You two have been together for 4 years and you have a kid together. Roy is willing to die for you. That's what you don't understand. He's willing to die for you. He's willing to take someone else's life for you. But you, with your actions, you don't understand that you're potentially putting yourself, and other people's life in danger by you not having proper manners and not knowing your place. So this is why I said when you focus on the effects, it's manipulation. It can distort it. So let's just go back to the cause of things. The cause was your actions wasn't proper. You should know your place, and when two men are speaking, you let the men speak. Yeah. And if you do need to speak to your man, it's okay to speak to your man. But you ask him politely, excuse me, you just reread, you read the room wrong. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Roy, what's going on, brother? Talk to me. You
then
good?
What would a better reaction be?
Okay.
Yeah, he was
what would have been a better reaction? I've explained that.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's a lag between when we speak.
Yeah.
You heard me? It's a little lag when we speak. So when I speak, I'll wait a second and then I'll let you two speak. But here's what I wanted to say. You said what you should have done. What you should have done was, if you really needed to speak to Roy, your man, or if not even really needed to speak to him, if you want to speak to him, you just say, you talk to your man. Excuse me, Roy. Do you have a moment I would like to speak to you about something? Or you can say, since he's speaking to people, you can say, excuse me, y'all. I have a quick question. Or you could just say, excuse me, and wait patiently until they say yes. and then you speak.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you said, excuse me, real quick, I'm sure if you would have said, excuse me, his friend wouldn't have said, hey, mind your business, woman. No, because you're walking up and you're speaking politely. So, excuse me. Yes. Can I speak to Roy real fast? Then Roy would have been like, hey, Leah, give me 5 minutes. Let me talk to him and then I'll be right with you. So that's the proper way to do things. But the thing is, and it's not just you, but it's many women don't understand the hierarchy. They don't understand proper manners when speaking to people. They don't understand the world because you are so coddled from the world. So you thought that your actions was just regular actions and that how he reacted was the problem. But in actuality, your actions was the problem. And you could have put both of you two in danger or another man's life in danger.
Yeah. I understand the latter. Definitely.
Yep. But yo, good conversation. I appreciate y'all for expressing your situation all the way from Trinidad. Shout out to y'all, actually. Shout out to y'all for explaining y'all little relationship problems. But yo, I'm gonna go ahead and get to some more callers in here, Roy. Blessings to you. Keep holding it down. And what I'll say to you, Roy, is, you know, in this situation, you said that this was the first time it happened. So I'm sure with this conversation here, she will definitely learn. But as a man as well, as a side note to a man, it's up to you if you wanted to do it. Because how long have you been friends with that man for?
Years.
Oh, you've been friends with him for years and y'all know each other. So that's your homie.
Yeah.
That's your homie. Okay. Well, I mean, in that situation, you could handle it like afterwards. You handled it how you handle it. And I mean, it is what it is. The only other way to handle it is to say something and that could have potentially escalated it. Or you could still say something like, hey, man, you know, that's my woman. Speak to her properly. That's what she was looking for. But still, you know the situation and she was in the wrong anyway. So even when we're just the fact that trying to even focus on the effects is like manipulating a situation, because then that would give her the thinking that it's okay for her to do it again. Like I repeat that. Just like even if we try to even if we succumb, anytime a man wants to succumb to the feminine thinking, it's like, that's only incentivizing her to have an excuse to then act like that again.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? So you did what you needed to do, brother. Kudos to you. Other than that, I'm going to get to some more callers. Appreciate y'all and have a blessed one.
Yeah, you too, bro.
All right, chat. We had a couple call in from Trinidad. That was different. And they had a little situation there. Let's bring up some more people and get some more debaters or other people's perspective on the topic that I just had. So we got Riley, I see you in here. We got Dion, I see you in here. We got SMG Drizzle, I see you in here as well. Let's get, I think Riley was next. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. State your name and where you're from. Yo. All right, he's frozen. Let's bring up someone else. Let's bring up Dion. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. State your name and where you from.
Dion, I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, by way of Phoenix, Arizona for right now.
All right, man. That's what's up, man. Talk to me. Are you here to debate or to speak about a topic?
Nah, bro, I just want to say really quickly to you, man, keep doing what you're doing. You're out here dropping knowledge and game to these cats. A lot of people don't understand what you're saying because they don't want to, and they don't know why things work the way they work. Like, the level of game that you're dropping sometimes is too much for people. They just can't figure it out and pick it up. I love what you do. I love the way that you handle things. Like, it's very simple for people, but sometimes simple ain't always as easy. You know how they say common sense ain't so common.
Yeah.
But the way that you talk, the way that you know, explain yourself, and the examples that you use when people don't understand you, it helps them get it. What people have to understand out there is, it's not, what you're saying is not belittling a woman or putting her down or making her look like she's less than. It's a woman understanding her place in your life and how to make it better and how to add value instead of taking away. I'll
Yeah,
tell
man.
you right now.
Women was put on this planet to be a helpmate to the man. So they need to come into the relationship and add value, and be an asset instead of a liability, and find ways to make the man's life easier, because he's already out in the world fighting dragons. When he comes home, he doesn't want to fight a dragon. Either. He wants to come home to peace, encouragement, motivation. Be his cheerleader, cheer him on. So yeah, man, what you're speaking is facts.
All facts, bro. Like I'll tell you right now. When I met my wife, she has 3 brothers. She was masculine. I'm talking full-on alpha male syndrome. I
Yeah,
had to break that. It took me a little bit of time, but I had to break that. You know, and I had to let her know, like, look, I don't want to date a dude. I'm not,
yeah,
I'm not gay. No disrespect to anybody who feels that way. You like what you like. You know, we
Yep.
live in a very sensitive world. I don't want to offend nobody, but I want to date a woman, a feminine woman, a woman who understands her place, who understands my place in her life. And I need you to be adding value, not taking away. And it took some breaking through, but I broke through that. You know what I'm saying? And it made her better, and it made me better as well, because she helped me in ways, you know what I'm saying, understanding certain things and knowing how to be able to build on life, and, you know, helping me out a little bit with wanting more. And you know, I mean, hell, man, my resume was regular as hell. My wife got a hold of that joint, man, boy, them jobs
she.
start rolling in like nobody business.
That's what's up, man. So she definitely was an asset to your life, man, and to helping you find a better job. That's a blessing, man. And it sounds like you got a beautiful thing. It sounds like you had a woman that was, you know, programmed by, you know, the world, and you were able to deprogram her and get her to follow your lead. So that's a beautiful thing, man. And I wish you and her and everything that you guys are building together, nothing but blessings. Okay, man. Yo, Dion, I'm gonna get to the next caller, brother. You have a blessed one.
Hey, you keep doing what you're doing, man. Don't let nobody stop you. Continue to be as blessed as you are. Continue to be as great as you are. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it, brother. All right. So we're going to get to some more callers. Hey, and I want to get y'all perspective too, on that. Let me go ahead in here, and we got a lot of people on Facebook. Let's see here. Thousands of people on Facebook, actually. They never tend to come on over to YouTube. So listen, everyone on Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and close down a Facebook stream. Come on over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube. I'm closing down a Facebook stream now. Come on over to YouTube, No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube, or just type in David Cooley, and you'll see the stream. It'll come right up. All right. Okay, let's get, we got SMG Drizzle. Let's bring you up, and then we're going to get, I think, Riley. I'll bring him up again. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. State your name. Where you from?
Drave, Mobile, repping that 251.
Welcome to the show, man. What you got? You want to debate about a topic, or are you here to have a discussion?
I talked to you 2 weeks ago, man. Shout out to the podcast. Doing a great thing. We was talking about
I appreciate it, brother.
the flat earth.
Oh, you're the flat earther. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I do remember you.
Did you get a chance to look into it?
Hey, man. No, man. You got to hit up the No Fugazi Podcast on Instagram.
I did.
And you did. Did my assistant get back to you?
Nah.
Okay. All right. What's your Instagram? I'm going to go ahead and find you right now so we could set this up. Where's your IG? All right. He went away. Okay. All right. Let's get to the next caller. But yeah, man, if you listening, if you in here, actually throw your IG in the chat. I'll go ahead and put it. I just threw it in the chat. I threw it in the chat on the link that you're in. So just look at the chat and you could type in your Instagram. Let's bring up Riley. And I know he's a flat earther wanting to debate flat earth. And I told him, I believe 2 weeks ago, I was like, yo, man, let me do a little bit of research and we could have this debate. And I'm all for it, man. So yeah, go ahead and send me your Instagram and I'll go ahead and reply back to you personally and we'll set up a date that you're going to be on. So I know that I can do some research for like, all I need is like 24 hours. Okay. He went ahead and sent me his Instagram. All right, brother. I'll hit you up on Instagram and we'll talk. Let's bring up Riley. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. State your name and where you're from.
Riley from Fairfield, California.
Fairfield, California. What's going on, man? Talk to me. Are you here to debate or speak about a topic?
Speak about a topic.
Sure. What's up?
So do you have kids?
I do.
Okay. So do you think that you should fight as hard for your kids as your child's mother?
You should fight. Wait, you said that. Should you fight as hard as your kids as you do your child's mother? Well, what's the situation?
Should you fight for your kids as hard as your baby mother?
What's the situation? Do you mean like you fight for her to be in a relationship with her or fight to have custody of your kids? What do you mean?
Just fight to have a relationship with them.
Oh, okay. Fight to have a relationship with them. Well, I think that if you, as a man, right, if you plant your seed in a woman and you have a kid with that woman, well, you have to take accountability and you should take responsibility. So as a man, yes, you should try to, well, one, you shouldn't be nutting in anything raw if you don't want a kid with her. If you don't want a future, if you don't see a future with the woman, you shouldn't be splashing in anything raw. Throw on a condom, brother. That's what I'll say. The next thing I'll say, if you have a relationship with this woman and you have a kid, yes, you should try to maintain a relationship. That's a relationship. A relationship is not to just, when something goes wrong, to go right to the extreme conclusions of things. No, you should try to work on the issues that you're having. Depending on the situation, if, those issues can't be worked on and, you two take different paths, you should 100% fight to have a relationship with your kids as well. And also fight to have custody or joint custody with the kids. This sounds personal. I'm speaking general right now, and my general answer is yes to fight for both. But if you want to speak about something specifically, I can speak directly to that. So what's your situation?
I got 4 kids, 4 baby mamas. One of them just moved to Vegas. My third BM just moved to Vegas, and my other BM has stopped. She's pretty much denied me. She's pretty much blocked me on everything, so I can't communicate with her to even see my kid. But I see my oldest kid.
God dang, man. What? You got all them baby mamas, 4 kids, 4 different baby mamas. What's going on with you, brother? Listen, man. I get it. I had to give you because you should be putting on condoms, man. What's going on? my man out here like, wait, condoms? What? We don't believe in those.
Playing in the streets and got hit. That's all.
Playing in the streets and got hit 4 times is wild, brother. Fool me once.
My first 2.
Look, it's like this. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, god dang, you got me. Fool me 3 times, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, man, you got to take some accountability.
I've accepted all accountability for my children and for the 4 BMs that I do have.
Okay.
There is just the last 2 was me just playing in the streets because my kids are literally 1 and 2, and my other 2 are 7 and 11. So it's not like it was back to back to back to back. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. How old are you, man?
I'm 34.
34. Yeah, you're a year younger than me. Basically, we're the same age, right? And you have kids by 4 different women. Your question is, should I fight for my kids just as hard as I fight for my baby mothers? Now, the thing is, you can't.
No. As hard as they fight to keep them away from me, pretty much. Like they quote unquote fight for them harder because they have them and this, that, and the third. But as far as me being a father, it's like they take that chance away from me by taking them away from me.
Understandable. I get what you're saying now. Now this makes more sense. So you're in a situation where you have 4 kids, 4 different baby mamas, and they don't let you see the kids. Correct?
Yeah.
Got it. So in a situation like this, do they have you on child support or no?
The last 2.
The last 2. The first 2, you cool with. With the first 2, do you see your kids or no?
Yeah, every day. Well, almost every day.
So the first 2, you're in the kid's life.
Yeah.
And the first 2 baby mamas, do you have a good relationship with them?
Yes.
Okay. So it's just the last 2.
Yes.
Got it. So the last 2, you said that you was in the streets and you got caught. And it's like, dang, all right, so I have a kid. Yeah, man, fight just as hard for your kids, harder than you would fight for yourself. So how you would fight for yourself, fight even harder for your kids, because your kids didn't ask to be in this world. You put them in this world. With that being said, you need to take responsibility. With that being said, you need to understand that your kids are literally a copy of yourself. They're a copy of yourself, right? 50% of you is in them. You die for your kids. You do anything for your kids. So yeah, bro, you fight and you never stop fighting. To the end of time, you don't stop fighting. And you can do it in a multitude of ways. You can do it in ways of trying to communicate. You can do it in ways of trying to better yourself as a man first. As you better yourself as a man, I'm sure you'll have a higher probability of winning a court situation. You'll be more stable. You'll have, I'm not saying that you aren't now, I'm speaking just regular, but you'll be more stable and more a better man as you better yourself. And I'm sure those 2 baby moms would see that. I'm sure when you take them to court and you try to do things the legal way, they would see it too, because you'll have a track record of being a good man, right? Mm-hmm. I have full custody of my daughter, right? I had to fight for that. So with that being said, I mean, we know the courts favor the women, but don't ever give up, bro. Don't ever give up. You are a man. You are a father. You know the importance of being a father because you already are in 2 of your other kids' life, right? Mm-hmm. You know that this world is crazy and influences is everywhere. And, there's, rainbow color influences. There's pedal influences. I'm trying to stay away from words because YouTube is sensitive. But there's all of these influences that can attack your kids. And especially in your situation where your last 2 kids was by women that you didn't even want a relationship with. It was they were recreational use only, and you got the chicks that were recreational use only pregnant. But that is what it is. The blessing is these are still your kids and you're still a father and you still have duties to do. So don't give up at all costs, bro. You don't give up on your kids. If you give up on your kids is going to be influenced by nonsense. Then they're going to be thinking nonsense, and then their behaviors is going to be nonsense. Right? So you can't change the past, but you can change the future. Don't give up.
For sure. For sure.
Got it, man?
Appreciate you.
Even if you got to watch this back 5 times, do not give up. Everyone in the chat, please put do not give up. Do not give up, Riley. Don't give up. Keep fighting.
Oh, I see the chat. They're going crazy. It's all
They're
right.
probably going crazy. Do not give up.
It's all good.
All right, brother. Have a blessed one, man. I wish the best for you.
Appreciate you.
All right, let's get the next caller on. We got Slang. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. State your name and where you from. Audio isn't on. I can't hear you. Okay, homie done froze up. All right. All right, so everyone that's currently tuned in right now watching the podcast, if you want to join the stream, I'm trying to get some haters in here or people with different opinions so we can have a debate. We really haven't had a debate. We had the one person, the couple that came in, which was that was a pretty cool convo. We had them come on, that was interesting. But yo, click the first link in the description. A lot of y'all, I know y'all haters, man, and y'all just watch the content and be angry like, oh, I hate this guy. I see y'all always in the comments, right? So this is your time to speak up. Don't be a coward. Click the first link in the description and I'll bring you up. We can have a debate on anything you want. Let's get to the chats real quick. And people that want to support, you can send in the super chat. I'm only reading super chats. Let's see what we got. All right. Yeah, chat was going crazy. Don't give up. Don't give up. Yeah, man. I see y'all in here. Someone said, don't give up on condoms. Yeah, brother shouldn't give up on that neither. All right. Let's see. We any super chats in here? I know we had a super chat from the last stream. Let me go ahead and get to the super chat from the last stream, the stream that ended. Let's see. All right, so we got Preach J Smokey video channel sends in $5. He says, yo, gang, what's your political views with this presidential election coming up? All right, what's my political views with the presidential election coming up? I mean, one, a woman as a president being the leader of the free world, I can't vote for a woman. So my thoughts on a presidential election, you know, I'm not a huge fan of Trump at all, but he's what's best out of these two options. So yeah, I'm voting Republican. So that's my views on this election. I do think that the media, as far as CNN, MSNBC, ABC, all of even the social media outlets, you got Hollywood Unlocked, Shade Room, like the big media outlets, even on social media. And then the mainstream media, they're all Democrat. So Kamala Harris is getting a lot of fake clout right now. It's clout because they run the media, because the Democratic Party pretty much runs 80% of media outlets, or I would even say 90% of media outlets. Only thing the Republicans run is Fox News, but that ain't even real conservative and Republican like that. They're becoming a little bit more liberal nowadays, but Fox News. And then the only social media outlet that Republicans run, Elon Musk, he endorsed Trump. So yeah, it's not a lot. So it can seem like there's been a pendulum shift in like, oh, Kamala Harris is definitely going to be the president. Don't let that media fool you like that, brothers and sisters. There's a lot of, even though it's not a lot of noise, it's a silent majority that's definitely going to be voting for Trump. A silent majority. They can make all this noise and stomp all they want, but it's a silent majority that's definitely going to be voting for Trump. I would say that, not majority, I would say that there's a silent large group of Americans, hundreds of millions of Americans. I think it's 320 million Americans. But it's going to be 100 million Americans definitely voting for Trump. There are definitely more Democrats and liberals in America than there are Republicans. I think that is true. maybe 55-45, possibly 60-40, but it could be pretty even. Anyways, yeah, that's my views on it, man. Definitely voting for Trump. And Trump 2024. If y'all got any other questions or people want to come up and talk politics, we can get into some more details, but that was just me answering a super chat of what's my thoughts on it. But yeah, man, if Kamala Harris wins, man, bro, the Dems nowadays is communists. That's like socialists. They believe in all of this egalitarianism type stuff, that men and women are equal on everything, and there's not really much to distinguish from the male and female. They believe that a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man. They want to confuse you by saying that, oh no, that's genders. So you could be multiple genders, but sex is different. No, it isn't. Sex and gender is the same thing. It has always been the same thing. But yeah, let's bring up some people. We got Fee NYX. Welcome to No Fugazee podcast. State your name and where you're from.
Can you hear me, brother?
I could hear you.
I'm good. You said say my name, Phoenix, man. A lot of people get that confused, man. That's what they say. The NYX. It's like a gamer thing. I've learned, man. But yeah, and you said where I'm from. I'm from West Virginia, man. But I live in Atlanta for the past 10 years, bro. And as much as I know y'all looking for the haters, man, bro, I'm really not a hater, bro. Like, nah, I like all your shit, comment on it, share on it, but I'm definitely got my own perspective, and I know you want to hear some opinions, man, some honest, some truth, something. And what you see behind me is me. That's the creative players, bro. If you check your DM, you're gonna see me in there, bro. I've been hitting you up. I was like, I'm trying to link. If you ever in Atlanta, I can't wait to link up with you. Cause I mean, it's just like when I listen to you talk, bro. I feel like I listen to the folks around me that I grew up with, as much even though they disagree, like the points and the analogies and the way the conversation carries itself, man, it does. It reminds me of that. It brings that to me, and I think that's why you're being successful, man, because you really relate. Like when J. Cole he got that song where he talking about the first time he had sex with a girl or whatever. He was talking about it. I don't know, but I think it's Wet Dreams. Y'all go listen to that song. You gonna see what I'm saying, bro. But you remind me of that. Just you be taking shit out of people's brain, man. But I do got a question.
Okay, that was long. That was a long rant.
My bad.
I appreciate the support, Phoenix. And yeah, man. What's your question?
I mean, because you kind of like a lot of people come into this space, where they get the females on, they talk that lingo and all that. I'm curious, the more so how you navigate through that and what kind of been your biggest criticisms, because I know like I seen all this Kevin Samuels, then the person I watched next was like Fresh and Fit, then I came across your stuff, and it's a couple more. I've seen the whatevers, I've seen all these other ones, bro, but I feel like you there, you know what I mean? And have you ever how do you deal with the comparisons, basically? I guess that's what I'm asking.
Okay, the comparisons of what? Of the other...
Yeah, like the other ones, you know what I mean? But I know you, like, I think you here, and it's only gonna get bigger for real. But I know like some people may not put you on, so I'm trying to see like how you feel about that. Like,
man, I got all love for people, man. And I like to speak very direct. So in regards to Fresh and Fit, much love to them. I know they went through many things, but much love to them and no disrespect to them on any level. And I hope they get their monetization back, and I hope blessings for them. I hope they do good. As far as whatever podcasts, blessings for them as well. I hope Brian and everything that he has going on, I hope it all goes good. In regards with working with these people, I reached out to Brian personally. Didn't really happen. He has a fee that he charges, which I respect. Respect the fee, cool. Do what you got to do, man. If that's what you're doing, charging people to come on, hey, the people that want to pay the fee, let them go ahead and pay the fee. But I'm not pressed to come on to be paying a fee to another YouTube channel. Also, I reached out when I was a small, I think only had like 40,000 subscribers. So kind of makes sense that it's like, oh, okay, who's this, another podcaster that's just doing some content like this? Go ahead, let's just stack on a fee. So it could possibly be different now if I reached out, but I have no want or a need to collaborate with whatever podcast, but I wish the best for what they're doing there. I know he always brings on Andrew Wilson. I've been on a podcast with Andrew Wilson as well when I was on Access Vegas. Much love to that brother too and what they're doing. We're all fighting the good fight. You know what I mean? So these are, influencers. We're all in the same field and we're all fighting the good fight of, trying to, bring back the nuclear family, spread the truth of male and female intersexual dynamics, and keep pushing the needle forward. So most of us have, if not the same, I don't think we all have the same agenda or purpose, because my purpose and agenda is definitely different from theirs, but it's definitely similar as far as you can see with our content. I would say currently right now, I would say that I'm the third biggest full panel dating podcast. I would say that I'm the third biggest full panel dating podcast.
Put yourself in third. My ass, that's two in that one. Who you got that two in that one?
Oh yeah, man. Listen, I'm direct. It's called No Fugazee. You got to give it to Fresh and Fit number one. And then you got to give it to even Jess Pearly. She was demonetized and really not doing the content. But how it probably would have happened was Fresh and Fit, Just Pearly, then it would have been whatever. But Just Pearly stopped doing the content, so it's Fresh and Fit, whatever. I really can't think of another podcast that's literally got episodes like myself that's being viral. Pretty much almost every episode is hitting, all the crazy media outlets, getting millions of views. I have to build up my live audience. That's what's slacking on my end. But I'm doing a lot of this with only 260K followers, and it's only a year and a half. So, I mean, when you really think about it, it's only a year and a half. So
I know it's hard work, man. I know
it's work, man, and it's not cheap either, man. Putting this out, people don't understand. Like when you want to get into a lot of people tried it and failed. Mm-hmm. But when you want to get into this space, you got to have some capital. Right off the bat, I put in $40,000.
Yeah.
Just
every
with
camera need a battery, need
every
lens.
camera, with all the people I employ, with the studio, with the recruitment process. Got recruiters that get the girls off many different sources. Off we recruit off the Instagram, off the dating apps, off everything. So, man, running a podcast like this, I mean, doing live streams like this, like debate night, that's cool. I could do these debate nights now because I've grown the platform so much. What I see in the future is it's probably I really never wanted to do the full panel dating stuff for a long time. That wasn't even the niche I wanted to go to. It was just like I came up with an idea because where I'm located at in Pennsylvania, bro, I'm not in a major city like, in California or in Miami. I'm not in any major cities. I'm in little old town in Pennsylvania, bro. So my recruiting strategies is tough. But I came up with a little recruiting strategy and it worked. And I was able to do I started off doing one show a month. But that one show that I did every month, it was getting a lot of traction. And I focused on clips. I was like, you know what? If I can't get an audience off my one shows because I only got 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to make sure I have the best quality clips out there so people can still hear it. So I used other different areas to help market the podcast, which everyone's that's watching, if you do want my marketing strategy, you can get this work. Go ahead and click the link in the description and get the one-on-one coaching. But go ahead, man. Talk to me, Phoenix.
Nah, I'm going to click that, man. I like what you're saying, man. And I feel like in this space, especially when it comes to what you're doing, because mine, I will say I'm not trying to do the plug, but I understand on that same level because I do like the creative players. I started off as an artist, and then it was, it was all about the music. Then I'm like, I feel like I'm more of, like, they always used to call me the positive rapper and all that. So that's why I came with the creative players. You, much like in a basketball, you got to be able to pass, dribble, shoot, score, play defense, jump, rebound, steal. You got to have it all. But I had like 3, what I call them hard marks to life, like much like The Sims, much like a creative player in a basketball game. You got to rate yourself on these 33 things, 0 to 3. So that's why I'm like right now. And as far as pushing it, I realize relationships is like that's that big red light. That's it. Everybody tuning in because they can relate. It's like the most relatable topic to go out there. And I feel like you coming up, do you ever disagree with, like, even though people in the same field, but how do you go about with the disagreements with them without it, like,
nothing. Yeah, I'm not a gossiper. So I don't do any reactions to anyone.
Right.
Like last week, no, just on this Sunday, people wanted me to react to this one guy that critiqued one of my podcasts. And I'm like, I mean, I may, since I won it, I may do a reaction to it and do a critique of him critiquing, my podcast. But it's like, I don't really need to. I don't not even need, but I don't even have the desire to really do it. I mean, I may do it just to give the people what they want. But yeah, man, as far as disagreements, that's human nature. We're never going to agree with someone 100% of the time, right? Never going to agree with someone 100% of the time. I met Rolo, Michael Sartain, and Marquette. All three gentlemen, stand-up guys, all of them smart, very smart. I learned a lot just from being out and taking that Vegas trip, and I plan on going back and, making some more content with them brothers because they doing, all three of them are doing well.
Disagreements.
Not even. Nah,
man. Like, that's 4 different, that's 4 different walks of, that's a nice amount.
Like,
Pennsylvania, I don't know where they come from, but.
You say, yeah, man. I haven't, those are, I'm sure we disagree on, certain topics and stuff like that. But as far as being around them, no, everything, it was love, man. It was love, man. When you're working and doing stuff in life and you're, trying to become successful, you're not like ever looking at like cons. Correct. Like, I don't have time to really look at too many cons because there's so many pros and I'm pushing to get more pros out of things. So like, get little cons to some if I may have a different perspective on this. I mean, if it comes up, we'll touch on it because there's no Fugazee, right?
That's it.
But if it doesn't, then, I mean, let's keep it pushing, man.
Yeah, because I see when most of your disagreements, they come in, they do, like, it's always, they take it, I feel like they do take it a little too far. They might get a little emotional, and then it starts to turn into disrespect, and then it's like, but I'm like, does that happen in that professional podcast when you be going out, working with the motherfucker? That's what I was wondering. But I'm glad you answered that.
Nah, man. It's all love, man. I would say, well, if we're speaking directly in regards to when I went out to Vegas and I was with, I did a podcast with Marquette. No, stand-up guy. Yeah. I mean, everything that I didn't have any expectations, but I mean, he exceeded any expectations that I would have had because it was good vibe, good stand-up guy, man of his word and everything, and had a good relationship, and I still talk to him to this day. In regards to Rolo and Michael Sartain, no, man, stand-up guy, and I still communicated with Michael Sartain not too long ago, man.
Yeah, I like to see
y'all. Yeah, man, it's love.
I like to see you get with bro again. Definitely Marquette now. Hey, I like to see you sit down with Myron and them too, man. I feel like that. Yeah, I mean, that panel going crazy. Put about 8 bad ones around y'all. So
yeah, I know a lot of people in the chat, at least in my chat, always ask for, if you, Marquette, and Myron do a podcast together, it's over. I'm like, me and Marquette will, me and him speak every now and then. I'm sure we're definitely going to do a podcast again because I do have plans to go out to Vegas again. I've never spoken to Myron, man, but from what I've heard from all the, people of friends that we have friends together, I heard nothing but good things. So, yeah. Okay. But, man, I'm going to get to another caller, brother. Appreciate the love, man. Have a blessed one, brother.
Man. You too, bro. I'm going to hit you again, man.
All right, man.
All right,
All right. Let's bring up. We got Benj. Go ahead and turn on your camera. We got Commentary King. I see you in here, man. If SMG Drizzle, if you are in the chat, let me know, because I'll go ahead and bring you on up, because we got Commentary King. He said he would all the smoke with debating flat earth. So I'll go ahead and bring him up and bring you up, and I can go ahead and let y'all battle that out. Much respect to Commentary King too, because he's an intelligent guy. Every time I bring him up, we always have good combos. He's definitely a based individual. Let's bring up Jimmy Jackson Jr. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. Where you from?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on?
I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay. And are you here to debate, or you got a topic of discussion?
I actually have a question, man.
Okay.
So, my question is pretty much, how do you reconcile the traditional belief of Black folks and how we get our leadership back with the fact that women are becoming the primary breadwinners? And how can we get our shit together, bro? Because Democrats are pushing us away from our people. You know what I'm saying? And like,
yeah,
God is, you know what I'm saying, bro? Like God, like he's becoming like a thing of the past. You know what I'm saying? And like Black males who do start to get cash, they're like, I don't want nothing to do with the Black community. I don't want to start no businesses. I don't want to do nothing. So
yeah.
what do we do to bring our people together, bro? That's my question.
Well, you got to think about it. The way you're thinking of it first, when you're saying bring our people together, like, yeah, I'm a Black man, of the type of man that you would call a foundational Black American. I'm a FBA. Like my great grandmother was a slave. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yeah, I'm really from the soil. And so first, when you say, to bring our people together, if you're just looking at people as far as skin color, then you're always going to fall short. You want to look at people as far as values, right?
Okay.
How do you, the values that you share with people, the values that you have aligned with other people, because that's the only way you could actually be together, if you have shared values, right? And currently, Black people as a whole, we don't have any shared values. The only shared values as a FBA, a foundational Black American, would have with another Black man is like, we kind of know when we go to a cookout, we got the yams, we got the mashed potatoes, we got the mac and cheese, we got the collard greens. Like, we know we need our certain food. So I'm saying that it's culture. Right. We know when we go to any type of Black event, they're going to play certain type of old school music. They're going to play certain type of new school music. So we have these commonalities, and it's culture based, but it's really only culture based off of food and entertainment, because hip hop, right, is like the culture, right? Yep. So as far as our shared values, as far as music and food and the way we speak and convey ourselves to one another, like, we already know, like, if you see a sister, you already know, like, you could say something easy to make a sister laugh. Like, we just know these little phrases that we can say, right. But not only that, it comes natural to us. It's like, and the sister kind of know as well, like, oh yeah, he really a brother. You know what I mean? So as far as that, we have these common interests there. But as far as our values, meaning what our values, our morals, right? Are we pro-nuclear family? Are we anti-natalism or pro-natalism? Are we, are we free open market capitalism, or kind of like, Marxists and, kind of want socialism and want everything to be equal? So our values isn't truly aligned. Do we believe in God, or are we atheists, or do we believe in some other nonsense? You know what I mean? And as far as even religion goes, like as long as it's the, what is it called? The Abrahamic religions. Those are all the religions that believe in the Torah. So the Christians, the Jews, and the Muslims, right? I mean, there's only a few things that kind of make us different as far as our religion, and that's everything after the Torah. But
can we do that without God, bro? Can we do that without God, bro? Because it seems like it's one of the things that we are lacking the most, man. And it seems like gay people are even starting to become pastors, bro, like gays and trans and like gay flags. And that's my biggest concern, and my biggest question to you, my brother, is do you think that we can do that without God, bro?
Well, the best way to do it is with God. Is it possible to do it? Is it possible to do it without God? Yeah, look at the rainbow flag movement. They're doing everything without God. Look at all the secularists, the atheists. They're coming together. They're doing all of these things without God. So can it be done without God? Yeah, but what's the best way to do it is with God. So I think that when we view our culture, I think how should we view the only way we should view our culture, for me to speak correctly here, is view the culture based off of values, not based off of skin color, right? We should look at the values that we share. Like, it's a whole lot of people that I don't rock with because we don't share the same values. We friends at a distance, right? Because I don't share the same values. I'm not going to allow you in my crib. I'm not coming to your crib. I don't want to go to your function. I don't want to do these things, right? I don't cuss, smoke, drink, or do any of these things. So I'm not really going to be in an environment that's always doing that. Like, I hardly ever go to the club. If I ever, hardly ever do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But there's people that want to do that 2 times a month. So you got to look at your friends too. Certain friends, bro, you got to cut off. If they don't align with your values, they're only going to hold you back.
That's facts.
Unless it's a business relationship and it's you giving something, but you getting something in return. Unless it's business, then all right, values don't really gotta align. Let's go ahead and get to the bag and get this money. But when we're speaking about black people as a whole, we got to our values have to align in order for us to come together.
Okay, so our values is the number one thing that we have to bring together as black males to rebuild our neighborhoods, because when black males are becoming successful, they are leaving, they're just disappearing, just like the white flight. So I just want to make sure, man, that I heard that correctly, is that our number one thing has to be our values.
Our number one thing, it does have to, black males, we could speak,
does that make sense, black males, what I said?
Even with black males coming together, our number one thing, our values have to align. I'll say this though, because that's overall. If the values don't align, it's gonna be some hiccups coming up. I'll say this, and I'll say this because first time I've been thinking about it. See if I can speak it out loud in a way that I want to speak about it concisely.
Go ahead.
There hasn't been a better time in American history for black people to come together and really take over. There hasn't been a better time, and I'll explain why.
Agree.
Since America started, the white man has always been here, right? The white man was always at the top of the hierarchy. Just it is what it is. The white man was always there. Currently, no one respects the white man. Currently, the white woman defeated the white man. The white man overall, I'll go into some more detail.
We'll have a little debate on that one, bro.
We could. The white male overall, right, is at the lowest. He's at the lowest he's ever been. at the lowest he's ever been. And areas, I mean, of, you know, being able to be, like, think about it. Masculinity is attacked so much. And if we're being honest, even currently right now, which race in America embodies more masculine traits overall? We would have to say the white man overall embodies more masculine traits. And I mean masculine traits as far as, you know, being head of the household, having his woman know the place, leading, protecting, providing, those masculine traits, right? You have to say overall, there are more masculine white men than any other male in America. We all know that there are more beta black men if we're comparing the two. Well, the reason why it's more white masculine males is because there's more white males, period. So I'll say that. I'll concede to that point. So that's why, because there's just more white males. But black people, the men are so effeminate, meaning that we have so many feminine characteristic traits, generally speaking.
Single mothers.
Because of we're being raised in single mother households. So the mother is instilling and imprinting her own feminine traits onto her sons. So there are a lot of black beta males out here. And we can see it, though. We can see it. We can see it in the, you know, on CNN when, what's his name? Van Jones or whatever?
Van Jones.
Always crying. You got
Don
the
Lemon.
other guy, Don Lemon. Well, he's a cupcake for sure. So zero masculinity. Like, we got the rappers. They all got the little in front of his name. Lil this, Lil that. Why everything is low?
The athletes, bro. Caleb Williams
athletes.
getting his fingernails painted, bro. Like, who the fuck do that, bro? Excuse my language, but
yeah. It's a lot of this kind of very feminized. We all know it. We can see it.
Male cosmetology is one of the highest things. If you was an investor, bro, male cosmetology right now, bro, is one of the things
it's crazy, bro,
that people would want to invest in, bro.
Yeah, and which is that's crazy. I know how people be getting their nails done and stuff. Like, I mean, cool if you want to get your nails done, but why are you getting your nails done if you don't even have your life done? Like, your life should be put together. Like, I don't even. It's nonsense. Even if it's like clear nail polish, like, I'm not doing anything like that. I don't have a need or want to do it, but the clear nail polishes, they want to do that. I mean, that ain't too bad. But getting different colors, now you wildin', bro. Yeah, you wildin'. You feminine. But anyways, I say that to say there's not a better time in America history currently right now for black people to come together, black males. We could come together, and if we actually embodied masculine values, right? We can definitely climb the top of the hierarchy, because the white men is like, they're coming down, man. Like, it's not a better time in history where we can actually supersede the white males and become the top of the hierarchy. And not only that, like, the way the media outlets is even showing things, like CNN and, you know, all the news networks, all even the Hollywood Unlocked, the Shade Room, even the social media networks, they all show black culture, right? All of them show, like, they prioritize black culture,
right?
Mainstream media. But if what we're so degenerate is, like, our culture currently right now is degenerate. Like, there's no masculinity, and they're only showing the femininity, the feminine stuff in the culture.
Don't ask questions.
They're only prioritizing degeneracy and the femininity traits in our culture, but they're not prioritizing the masculinity and the stuff that has values in our culture. But right now is the time that we can take that over. But it's so many people in these outlets, like, you got to think about it. I think the Shave Room is owned by someone that's a Fruity Pebble. Hollywood Unlocked is definitely owned by someone that's a Fruity Pebble. So it's like, we as masculine men, we got to come through and create our own outlets, right? Our own outlet so we can show what we want to show. Because influence creates thinking, thinking creates behavior. And we're being out-influenced by the liberal, feminine, leftist media in regards to just black culture. So we need another media and some influence base, sources and outlets that's more masculine, that's more conservative, that's more, holding people to a higher standard and things like that. But we don't really have it, man. Now, the white culture, they have it, because you got to think about it. The white culture, they still got Fox News. The white culture, they still got, there's more white people on Twitter than are black people. They got Elon Musk, took it over and named it X, but there's still more white people on that app than there is black people. Even though it was like a black Twitter before, but bro, the white Twitter still supersedes the black Twitter by far.
I forgot about that black Twitter, man.
Yeah, remember the whole black Twitter thing?
Yeah, bro, I remember that, bro. I remember all that. Hey, bro, can I ask you one more thing, bro?
Sure.
Hey, man, do you pay attention to Matt Walsh?
Matt. I mean,
he did that. He did that.
I've
thing.
seen some stuff that he does. Yeah.
So, what do you think about how white people are being attacked right now, bro? What do you think about that? How black people are just blatantly tearing. I mean, bro, he came out with a documentary called "Am I Racist?" and I haven't watched it yet, but I'm watching clips. And bro, I see a lot of black people are starting to stick off for white people, bro, because niggas they ain't playing, bro. They tearing up white people like it's 19. You know what I'm saying, bro? What do you think about that, bro? Do you think it's like a thing from God saying now it's like your turn to be hit, or do you think like yo, bro, like y'all gotta chill, man, like y'all going?
Nah, God don't work like that. I don't really believe in karma either. But
yeah, karma, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, good question. The only thing I've seen of Matt Walsh, isn't he the guy that made like that one documentary, like the whole transgenderism thing, like a man? That's that guy, right? Okay, yeah. In regards to the whole race thing, as far as black people, beating up white people and stuff like that, I don't think it's prevalent. I don't think it's as common as people are even speaking about it,
bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, verbally, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that,
you know what I mean?
In that case, yeah, like, think about it. We can say cracker. We can call somebody Charlemagne every morning on his show, cracker. He always played a cracker sound, and it ain't no noise about that, right? So we could truly call a white person whatever. The type of white people we can't call certain things is, well, we know them. And it start with a J. But I would say, they're at the top of the hierarchy.
Right.
But when it comes to black people, talking down on white people, man, I don't condone any of that type of behavior, man. That's child's play. It's usually younger people or people on social media just talking, and maybe even some bots, but. That is a fact that is more accepting for black people to, discriminate towards white people than it is vice versa, the other way around, for white people to discriminate or talk down on black people. So yeah, that's definitely something that currently in society that is more accepted. What I think about that, I think it's child's play. I think that black people should grow up. I think that you should truly stop viewing human beings as color and start viewing human beings as their character. Don't judge me by the color of my skin, Martin Luther King. Judge me by the context of my character. So, yeah, man, I think that's how we should operate. That's the logical way. That's the masculine way. And that's the only ways for anything to really push forward. But I say that to say that kind of proves my point. Like, think about what the media and they're allowing black people to do. It's the perfect time. If we actually came together, we can truly take over. Like, we can have more black billionaires. We can instill our values into the school systems. We can change different laws and things like that. But you got to think about it. all the black people that has any power in America and the very rich black people, they're entertainers, bro. They're not any really philosophers or scientists or you get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we got Ben Carson, but besides Ben Carson is like, dang, who else we got? We don't really have a black intellectual like that's in the mainstream that's high up.
Right. It's all Charleston White.
Or that's not like a crazy left-wing Democrat and basically a communist.
Exactly.
That wants to egalitarianize everything.
Yeah, bro. It seems like podcasts are what is like is going to slowly start bringing brothers together, bro. Like Runaway Slaves, bro. It's like a Frederick Douglass podcast, a Booker T. Washington podcast, and that might be like the best way to describe it or an analogy. But I feel like, you know, black males are slowly making podcasts, bro. But shit, all right, man. I don't want to keep you up, bro. I already know that you got, you know what I'm saying, nigga people up in there that are waiting. But yeah, bro. Hey, I appreciate you having me on here, man. Hey, bro, I'm gonna try to be, you know, popping up in here if I can, man. I'm gonna try to find something to debate you about, bro. It's hard, man. It's hard to debate, but I know you probably tired of people coming in every time like, Cooley, man, oh, I like everything you do, man, blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna try to come in here and have something to debate. I don't hate it,
man. I truly appreciate the love, man. I just want the debates. If you do want to debate a topic, just let it be genuine so we can really go back and forth, and I kind of like that. But yo, appreciate the support, Jimmy Jackson Jr., brother. And have a blessed one, man. All right, I'm going to bring up Cleve and then Smoke. We got 2 more people to bring up. Hold up, man. Let me order this Five Guys because they about to close. I'm hungry. All right, wait. Let me get the fries. There's that. Yeah, we do a live chat. I'm actually ordering Five Guys right now on my phone. I'm not playing no games. All right, hold up. Should have my assistant to go pick it up. About to call that nigga. This is what happens when you're a busy man and you're working all day and you go to the gym right before you do a live stream. I'm starving. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let's bring up a few more people, and we're going to make these conversations really concise. Clive, welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. Where are you from?
From Atlanta.
From Atlanta. You here to debate or have a discussion?
That's a couple of things that you said earlier.
Sure. What's up?
So first I should say about your podcast, I've only watched a few, and I want to make sure I don't misconstrue any of your words. So I see that you bring on a lot of time. You brought on women who were feminist or contention, saying men they don't need a man or something like that, right? Single mothers, things like that, right? And that the single mother problem is the single mothers, you contest as a problem, and that's why we're raising men who are not masculine, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So my first question to you is, how do we solve that problem of single motherhood?
How do we solve the problem of single motherhood?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, influence creates thinking, thinking creates behavior. So you always got to go to the cause. We have to influence women and men to be more virtuous, right? Mm-hmm. And how we do that is, how do we solve the single mother problem is, well, one, single mothers are incentivized via welfare to marry the government instead of marrying the man. They're incentivized. So that's one thing. The other thing is, so we have these laws and we have technology in place to incentivize the woman to be single. So one, we have all these contraceptives. Plan B, we have birth control. So Plan B and birth control, well, what that incentivizes the woman to be more promiscuous. So if she's more promiscuous, she's more likely to sleep around and not really put as much stake into her mating strategies and her mating choices, right? So that means that, well, she's going to choose a guy that may not be the right guy, and have a one night stand or sleep around and get pregnant and have a baby and end up a single mom. The probability increases because of contraceptives, right? That's technology. Then, besides technology, we have the laws. Like I said, we have the welfare state. So we have technology, we have the welfare state, which is the laws. The way to defeat that is by voting, right? So we know that there is one party that is, that not fully against the contraceptives, but they definitely want to put strict regulations on it. Definitely with the aborting, right, process. So I think we could do our due diligence as far as voting more conservative and voting based off of values, not based off of skin color and how we feel. We should vote off of policies and pick the right candidates in the local level and the state level. Really, in the president, their affairs really don't mess around with, in general, they really don't mess around with the state level. So we got to vote in our local towns and stuff like that. Put the right people in position that has our values. Not only that, influence, right? So podcasts like this, and other podcasts, we should influence and encourage family, right? We shouldn't be anti-natalist. We should be pro-natalist. So we should encourage families and encourage kids. And we should disencourage, the degeneracy, the Cardi B's, the strippers, the OnlyFans, the aborting, all of these other degenerate behaviors that leads our people astray. And then that will definitely lower the single mother household.
So
that
you
was
don't,
a lot, but
no, that was a lot. I took it all in though. I took it all in. So being that you said that the laws, the regulations, do you think that most young women make good decisions? Just a no question.
No.
Okay. So most young women don't make a good decision, right? And the reason why I'm saying this is because I understand that you're saying, hey, the laws and everything, but I just take it as black men, right? Our number one duty is to say, hey, we have to take on the onus. I've taken on to say myself to take on the onus of say this problem that you deem that we deemed a problem. I do deem it a problem that there's not family. I'm pro family.
Yep.
Making sure that you're being with your wife, with your kids, man, woman, and child. That's how I look at it. I see you on a podcast where you said, hey, God. And I always tell a woman, if a man doesn't submit to God, then you shouldn't submit to the man, right? That's kind of my thing, right? That if a man doesn't submit to God, you shouldn't submit to him, because his laws will come from his way of conduct, his way of character will come from submitting to the Most High. And I say that because a lot of times on the podcast, I just see that I'm not your podcast in particular, but just what I've seen. I'm not on the internet too much, but just what I've seen is that men are not making solutions to say, how do we rally together to control our neighborhoods? If you're a 6-figure man, right? And how do I live with other men? Because I tell people the main thing is, people say come together. The main way is to come together is through living in the same place, getting values and coming there and not being apart. It's hard to connect without being apart.
Yeah, man. Black men. We definitely have to lead our families and lead the household in regards to,
and lead the community.
For sure, 100% lead the community. When it comes to, like you said, young women, you asked me, do I think that they make the right decisions? Generally
Do they
speaking,
make good decisions?
Do they make good decisions? Generally speaking, no. And this is why, but generally speaking, young men don't make good decisions either. This is why you need
let me ask you a question.
You need some masculine guidance.
Let me ask you a question behind that, though. But
Sure.
Do you think that young men 50 years ago made good decisions?
I would say young men and women 50 years ago made better decisions.
So you think so? Well, the only thing I would disagree with that is that young women didn't have the choice of decision back then as much as.
Guess what? That's why it's a good decision. That's why they made good decisions, because they didn't have the choice.
I got you. The reason why I'm saying that, we've seen an environment where I just believe that young men are not being taught that we can get back to that space where men of 15, 16, 20 years old can be young men of decision making, right? That they can be young men and saying, hey, I can, if we taught them to be able to be decision makers, right?
Yeah, we need to teach. Well, we need to teach young men. Put it like this. I get what you're saying, man. To make it clean and concise, God over man, man over woman, woman over children. The man leads the household. He leads his sons and his daughters. He leads his woman. So in regards to that, you need a masculine father figure, a man that fears God, a man that knows his place and that's willing to do his duty overall. So if that is that guy, he will lead his son. The probability is higher for him to lead his son and lead his daughter and instill good traits into his daughter. We know that. But this is why I talked about technology and I talked about law, because influence is powerful. Currently, right now, as men, as masculine men, we can do all we can do. I got a daughter, I have a son, and I have another daughter on the way. And I'm going to be having another son on the way because I'm planting seeds.
I got you. I got one on the way too. I got you.
Congratulations. So with that being said, influence is very powerful. So even though I can do everything in my power, so to keep my daughter off the stripper pole and to keep my son out of prison, I could do everything in my power. There are still outside influences that can penetrate them. So I still have to do things that trying to lead my community. And that's what we do by voting and putting the people that has our values aligned into power. That's what I'm saying.
So I disagree with that, right? Because the main thing is, the main thing with even voting is that most communities, Jewish community, if you go into it, they're going to pass things by influence, by power, not influence through voting, but influence through making sure that if they're going to have lobbyists through their community, the main power they have, of course, is living together. The main power they have is to live together, right? And I wanted to say one more thing is that you were saying about values.
Wait, what part do you disagree with? I didn't understand what you just said. How did you disagree with that?
The part about the voting, that you thought that the voting part was the most important part. I didn't say not the most important part. I said that what you want to prioritize is your family. You want to prioritize your household, but that doesn't mean that you have peripheral vision for a reason, because you can see things on this side of your eye and see things on that side of your eye. So you want to use your peripheral vision and try to do it all. So as a man, we should prioritize the house, the family, but we should also don't just turn a blind eye to not voting. That is still important. Not trying to put people in positions of power to vote, not trying to influence people to have shared values like we have. Like if I don't disagree with that part.
Yeah, so if I have good values, I'm going to try to encourage other people to have good values around me. I'm not going to turn a blind eye to transgenderism going on over here. I'm not going to turn a blind eye to all of these other degenerate behaviors. Woman on a stripper pole and a man that's simping on a chick, or a man that's selling drugs in his community. I'm not going to turn a blind eye to that. So we have to be a man in our community, but that also comes with voting as well. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was
we shouldn't take that lightly.
No. I was saying that. So my thing is that more of voting or not voting. You're right. It starts with, hey, my household. Am I a leader of myself? Am I a leader of my house? Right? Am I a leader of my community? Right? The people that live right around me. And then, of course, that comes in with voting, with encouraging the people, right? With having the people there.
Yep. So Clive, get to your point. You have a question you want to get to?
Yeah. So the last, the other thing about the values, you were saying that the values that we should come together as around values. And I just wanted to state that we weren't the ones that came together around color. We've never been the ones to come around color. We've always been, from every community that's here, including our own. We have been taught to hate our own community. Everybody else has been taught to hate our community, not to like our community as a whole. I'm not talking about an individual person that you have one individual here or individual there.
All right, say that again. You said that we've never came together on values. No.
I didn't say that.
Okay, say it again.
We've never come together. We didn't choose to come together as a race. We were tribal people. White communities chose us to say we
Okay,
were black.
got it. What's
We
your
never-
point?
Okay, so my point is that we have to, the race is a correlation with the values. I can't just say I'm going to just stick with people of the values. The race has to be a part of it too, because it's like playing.
That don't make sense.
If everybody around you is saying that, hey, we don't like you because of your skin color, right? What are you?
Who
are
says
you going,
that? Currently, right now, who's saying that?
Currently, right now, who's saying that? Through legislation, through dollars, and through how they treat your community. That's how that works. We don't have any power in any of these communities. What community do we control, sir?
So once again, manipulation happens when you focus on the effects and you don't get to the root, the cause of it, right? So the cause, you went to effects. The cause of it is
I didn't
shared
say
value.
effects. That was outcomes. We're not saying effects. We're saying the outcome.
Those are outcomes. But
Okay.
those was outcomes which was produced by effects.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying that what you just said don't make sense, because if we come together, you said that we have to come together on race and on values.
And on that, both of them together. That it's not a community that has, yes, is one thing. Are we partnering? Yes, me and you, I see you and I say, hey, brother, we need to be.
I get it. I get what you're saying now. Okay. I got it. So you said that we have to come together on race and values. I'm not in disagreement with that. Okay. I'm not in disagreement with that at all. That's like, okay, if you want to come together on race and values, Black Panther Party.
Yes.
Trying to come together on race and values, right? Totally fine. Not against any of that. But the truth is, if we just come together on values, I'll be bigger than you trying to come together on race and values, because I can find more people that share my same values than more people than you trying to put race and value together. What I'm saying is nonsensical to even think that way. This is why the Black Panther Party didn't happen, due to a multitude of reasons.
Okay, I just want to make sure we say that.
Yeah, due to a multitude of reasons, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're going to prioritize race and values, and that's what you want to look for, and that's what you want to put together, I'll win the race if I prioritize values.
Let me ask you a question.
This is what I'm saying. I'll win the race as far as numbers.
I know that. I heard what you said, but I'm asking you that, have we not, since the beginning, since we've been here, since we've gotten out of slavery, have we not tried to do that?
No.
Have we not? So you're saying that we haven't tried to integrate with white people based on values and not based on color?
No. Look.
No.
Look.
You're saying that black people haven't been since we've come out. We've always said, hey, we want to be against white people. That what you said?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'll tell you what I'm saying. What you just said, that's not what I'm saying. I'll tell you what I'm saying. We have never, segregation, right? It wasn't like we were like, Jim Crow. Everything was segregated. It wasn't like we were trying to come together based off of race and values. Those
not
two
race
things.
And values. We've been trying to come together with Caucasians
based off of values.
Yes, sir.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, got you.
This has been a try. Mm-hmm.
And we tried to come together based off
Mm-hmm.
of values.
Mm-hmm.
And when we tried to come together based off of values, I mean, when you look at the past, the reason why that didn't work is because there were a whole lot of things against us anyway at that time, right? And America was different. We had the KKK fully against us. They wasn't trying to allow none of that happening. In the 50s and the 60s, bro, racism was like prevalent. Real prevalent, meaning that it was really, really affecting, it could really, really affect your life. We was doing better when we was doing better in Jim Crow, actually. We had Black Wall Street, but, the government allowed KKK to destroy that and stuff like that. So when you're looking at the history and you're trying to compare it to to modern day times, it's like, it's not really a comparison. And I wouldn't even say that we actually tried to come together on values. I would say those black people just tried to come together to fit in, right? They just tried to come together to fit in like, oh, yeah, I want to eat at this white restaurant. We didn't share any values. That isn't true is what I'm saying. Like, we didn't share any values with these white people to be going to their restaurant. They didn't even like us. So truthfully, that actually never even happened if I'm actually thinking about it out loud now. We actually never, ever as a people tried to come together and just values to other races. That actually never truly happened. What we tried to do was just fit in. It was feminine. Oh yeah, I want to eat at this restaurant. They make stew, beef stew with no salt but I want to fit in and hang out with these white people. Dang, that white girl over there look good. Maybe if we talk to our people over here trying to get them, maybe we can eat at their restaurant. I can push up on this little white meat over here. Bro, it was nonsense, bro. We never tried to come together on value. So no, I take it back. That's a lie. That never happened. But I do think if we tried to come together on values now, it would be different. It would actually look different. Coming together on values is not eating at the same restaurant, playing in the same sport, and doing all of these entertainment things. That's all feminine stuff. Coming together on values is like, hey, I'm creating a business, and my business that I'm doing here is all based off of these values here, and I'm pushing for family, right? And I'm pushing for, you know what? The laws that I want to incentivize marriages instead of decentivizing marriages. Is that a word? Incentivizing? It could be a word. Maybe it is a word.
Disincentivize, yes.
Disincentivize, yeah. There we go. Thank you, Clive. I want to incentivize marriages, right? So if you're married for 20 years, guess what? No taxes, no property tax. You get no property tax. But guess what? We don't come together on values because we don't really prioritize family. And guess what is a good value that me and you agreed on? Prioritizing the family. So if we are going to prioritize the family, we should incentivize marriages. We shouldn't disincentivize marriages. Currently, right now, if the woman wants to divorce, she can take half without a prenup. Even with a prenup, it's going to be a little hard, right? So everything is to disincentivize and disencourage marriages and family. We should come together off values and encourage that. The thing is this, bro. Black people back in the 50s, our values was cool, but we ain't prioritized values. We prioritize entertainment, looking cool, and trying to fit in. Fitting in is feminine. I don't want to fit in with anyone.
You think we prioritize that from the 50s to do music and stuff like that?
I'm talking about when we were trying to integrate. When we were trying to integrate, it was all, think about Martin Luther King speeches. They should be able to go on the same bus and sit wherever they want to sit. They should be able to eat at this restaurant or go into that movie theater. It was all entertainment, bro. Food and entertainment. It was nothing that was actually true. It wasn't any values. It was more of just doing things to fit in.
Just being able to go certain places. That was your whole point, that all they did was try to fit in. Right?
I mean, of course, it was schools and things like that. They wanted to have the education on schools, and education.
Our communities didn't have the resources. We didn't have the resources. We didn't have the facilities. We didn't have everything that was white. Okay.
And guess what? We're not going to have. This is the thing, bro. What I want to say. We're looking for handouts as a people.
I didn't. Hold on. I didn't say that's not what I said.
I'm saying that. I'm saying that as a people back then. The mindset. We were looking for him. Even Martin Luther King, he even knew this. He even wrote a letter like, I kind of, let my people astray by, integrating and things like that. Like, the thing is, the schools and the things like that on what you're saying, yes, we didn't have the resources and stuff like that. Now, we could try to negotiate for the people that's in power. Hey, can we get these things? But we shouldn't expect it to happen. And I think that was very feminine, that we expected the white man that had us in slavery all these years and then freed us to give us everything. Like, we were like, all right, you already freed me, master. Can I have some more? Okay, master, you freed me. Can I have some more? Like, come on, nigga. Master already freed you. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps, which the term all black people hate, and go out there and get it out the mud. That's the masculine thing to do.
All right, let me ask you this, right? So, two things. I believe that we have to. I'm gonna say this.
I'll leave you with the last word, but I got to get my 5 guys, and I got to bring someone else up.
All right. My last word is this: is that the people need to the people now. Yes, we have to do that, right? But we also have to understand that we started a race before. We're not going to give us anything. I don't believe they're going to give us anything. I don't ask for anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking at none of that.
Yeah.
Should we get it? Yes, we built this country, but are we going to get it? No, I don't believe that. But I'm going back to the main point of this whole discussion was that black men have to take the lead. That's all I'm saying, that we can't blame women for anything, because that everything that happens to them, anything that's going on, single motherhood.
My podcast isn't about blaming women, though.
I didn't say it was. I'm just making that point. Mm-hmm.
I got you. Yeah, I always encourage women just to take accountability, because God made man and woman. God made man and he made woman.
But you said man is the leader, though. If man is the leader, how can
not only that, do you think that the woman gets to heaven by? It don't happen that way. We have.
I don't believe in heaven and hell, but I'm. But if you're the leader in any business, in any place,
I got you. Look, men have agency and women have agency. In order to have agency, right? Agency is you are responsible of your decisions that you make. Since you are responsible, you are accountable for the decisions that you make and things like that. So with that being said, I got you. With that being said, is women have agency. So women are responsible, which means that they have to take accountability, right? Men are responsible, which means that they have to take accountability. So I encourage women to be the best versions of themselves, just like I encourage men to be the best versions of themselves. But with that being said, it isn't like, yes, men are the leaders, but it isn't like, oh, well, men are the leaders, and if men isn't leading, everything is on the woman. Well, no, it's saying that, oh, you can't blame women if men aren't leading. Well,
can I ask you a question?
No, that isn't true. You can't.
I know, I got you.
I don't believe in that.
Can I ask you one question?
Sure, go ahead.
This is your podcast, right? Like, you're the owner, you're the guy that runs everything, right?
Correct.
Okay. People work for you, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, if one of your employees says something crazy, or they do something, are they going to sue the employee, or are they going to sue you?
Well, they're going to sue me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You no matter what happens, you're responsible. Even if your employee does the action. You missed out
something there.
Go ahead.
You missed out something.
What did I miss out?
Consequences. Accountability. Right? So you missed out something. Mm-hmm. It's 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 = 4. It's a line. If something happens and I have an employee, heat is going to come on me because I own a company. What's going to happen to that employee? Fired, reprimanded, stuff like that. So you left out that part and you went straight to the owner of the company. But the thing is, consequences is going to be on the employee as well, just as the employer. So that's the same thing with men and women. Do you get what I'm saying? Women need to take accountability and have responsibility because they are human beings of agency. So even when they do wrong themselves, even if they don't have a good leader, right? Well, you still are a human being of consciousness. That means that you still have the ability to be perspicacious and be aware and be like, okay, I chose the wrong guy. I should choose better. So this is what I coach women on and teach women on. Like, listen, guys is out here trying to sell you the dream. They trying to bust a nut. So you have to be a better version of yourself and more disciplined so you can have discernment, the ability to make good judgment. Because if you're not good and virtuous inside, how are you going to be able to weed out the people that aren't good for you? Because you tend to project. So whatever you have inside, you're thinking that those people have that stuff inside them too. So if a woman is on a stripper pole, she's more likely to date a drug dealer. If a woman is on a stripper pole, she's more likely to date a dude that got 4 baby mamas, 6 kids. That math don't even add up, but some way he got it. She's more likely to date a nigga that ain't gonna lead her anywhere. That's only gonna lead her astray. So that means that she needs to work on self. Same thing I tell the women, I tell the men. How are you going to be able to decipher which is a woman that's trying to just take money from you or lead you on and put you in a friend zone? Well, you need to be the best version of yourself, right? And how are you going to be able, I don't cuss and drink for a reason and don't smoke for a reason. My chick don't cuss, smoke, or drink for a reason. You get what I'm saying? So I have these morals in me. So the people that I attract, I want them to have the morals in them too. I want to accept it. If I don't accept it in myself, why would I accept it in someone else? That's nonsense. Do you get what I'm saying? So every one of us has to take accountability, bro. Because every one of us is responsible of our lives. But yo, I'll leave you there, Clive. I want you to come back because you bring the energy out of me, man. And not only that, you do have good questions. So, Clive, I do this every Wednesday. Come on back, but Five Guys is calling my name. My stomach is growling.
Stay focused,
and I got to bring up
man. What's
Smoke.
up?
Stay blessed.
All right. Peace.
Smoke, I hope you come
What
in with
up,
the smoke.
I definitely am, man. I've been checking you out for a while. I'm gonna make this quick and concise because I know how it is when you want to eat, man. There's a lot of stuff I agree with you about. I'm a conservative myself, and the reality of it is that I have a lot of white friends that, white, well-to-do friends that, um, make well over six figures, multiple six figures, and so forth. And we have open conversations, guys I would even consider brothers, like as far as race is concerned. And they have spoken a lot about that white victimhood that you've talked about, and said that like white men are the most oppressed men, or the most oppressed genre or group in America right now. And
I wouldn't say most.
That's what they say. But
okay.
What I'm saying is that that's
Okay.
that same tone that you're talking about, because you're saying that they are kind of like the exemplar, the manifestation
Yeah.
of
The white people
masculinity.
currently right now, they have a victim mindset, meaning that they need to atone for the sins of the slave masters.
Cool,
I get what you're
right?
saying.
So yeah, and I don't want to ride that dead horse, but one thing I disagree, and I want to put some context to about that. One, I disagree with it completely, because if white men are being oppressed, then who's impressing them? You know what I'm saying? You look at like, it can't be white women. Like, it's just, the reason is just how it affects what you guys were talking about before, how in the 70s, black men were at their like peak of perception of masculinity. If you remember, and I don't know how old you are, but I'm 40 plus.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, when I was growing up, even all the way through high school, man, black men were looked at as like the creme de la creme. Like, man, white chicks, we had all the baddest cheerleaders, we had all of the baddest like everything, like all of the chicks wanted a black dude. Throughout, when I got into college and things started to get to where men got progressively feminine, where you started having the gangsters in dresses and the dudes painting nails, and you started
Yep.
having this effeminate, like this real feminine type of black man portrayed. You got to think the 70s, it was extra masculinity, and this was a good time, man, in the 70s. And I can't say good time, but it was a good time for family, because men were running things. That's when you had the shafts. That's when you had this picture of black masculinity as a big, I got to be careful. I don't want to mess up your. I don't want, it was the big dog on the block. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He had
I know what you
money.
mean.
He had money. He had. You know what I'm saying? He had his main. It was some sort of organization to it. Even though it might not have been healthy, there might have been drugs involved. It might have been a lot of other things that created the downfall of it. But it was masculinity, and black men were not what we look at them now as. So now I don't want to just say like the black man's just been a sissy since slavery. It's just not
No.
been that.
Yeah, no,
We
not
had
at all.
we had a moment where we were about family. And see, look at this. This
For
is where I'm
sure.
gonna tie it on.
100%.
This is where, and it ties into the mentality of the last caller you just had. And this is what's really important. We've been waiting on Jesus. We've been waiting on the Democratic Party. We've been waiting on Muhammad. We've been waiting on Malcolm X. And even people like you. And I don't mean that, I'm not trying to diss, but even now we go to Andrew Tate's, and we always look what we need to do. And the problem is the reality of it is, you said it perfect. Tighten up your belt and look at your brother, your blood brother. Fuck, or excuse my French, but forget or what the black man or the black community needs to do. Man, you don't even care about the person down your block. And that's true. As all of these people, they fake in front and they talk, they don't even care about the person down the street. There's a person homeless right now that you're going to drive past right after this, all of us. So like, man, stop the game, stop the play. I'm sorry, man, my daughter's sleeping. Stop the
You
game,
good?
stop the play. And it's like, man, but the reality of it is like, man, we have to get ourselves, your family, marry that chick you have babies with, and take the consequences of you having that ratchet chick you stuck your thing in and you had a baby. You have to do it. You have to
yeah,
hold it.
take the responsibility.
And the thing is as a real leader and as a real man, this is one thing everybody listening should go by. Is it's called extreme ownership. It's a white dude who wrote the book. But it's the reality of it is if the chick ain't right, it's your fault. If the chick ain't right, it's your fault, because you know what the
You
reality of
wifed
it is.
her up, man.
Or if that employee stole or did something wrong, it's your fault. You didn't see it. You didn't see it, bro.
100%.
So it's like, yeah, we can talk about, yeah, your chicks need to do this, but that's one thing that dude had right, is that the reality is that in the manosphere, especially the white manosphere, there's too much chick blaming. If you got to expect a woe to do what a woe gonna do. You know what I'm saying? And that, like, our community, we understand how that is. We don't expect the dog to meow.
Man. I
we
get
gotta
what you.
call a duck, and that's one thing. So let me finish with this, and I'm done.
I got you, man. Let me respond to some of the stuff that you're saying, so
Yes,
the audience, so we can have a concise conversation, man.
Absolutely.
No, I get what you're saying. Everything you said, I'm not against it, and I agree with it, and that's what I was speaking to the gentleman about, and that's what I spoke to the other gentleman. You want to take full ownership of your life, and that is the good things that happen in your life, and also the bad things that happen in your life. You got to take 100% ownership. So, but with that being said, I think most people interpret when I'm speaking about male and female intersexual dynamics, and I say that women have agency too. They think that, oh, well, you're blaming the woman so much and all of this other type of stuff. No. I'm just saying that
you're taking masculinity in a Caucasian form of masculinity. And I think all of us have. I think a lot of us. So in other words, we look at money. This is why Trump is president. This is why Trump is going to.
Yeah. I don't think
somebody with no class, but
I don't think that masculinity is taken in a skin color.
It has been
redefined by I don't think that
that's why it's being lost, because money cannot control masculinity.
Got you. I got what you said, man. Listen. So you said something there. Yeah, I don't think that myself.
You call black men sissies. You kind of call black men sissies, and you said white men were the exemplification of. That's the real. That's the real.
Well, no, I said that. Maybe you missed what I said. One, I'll start here. I don't think that masculinity has any color to it. The other thing, I didn't call just all black men sissies. I was speaking about a certain specific type of black men, which I've talked about it when I was speaking to him. I said a lot of them are. When I'm speaking in general, I'm giving a general consensus of things, right? There are more white men in America than there are black men, right? If we're just looking at the leaders, the people that we see on TV, the leaders, the billionaires, the millionaires, the people that we, see and review and people tend to idolize. The white men, right? They embody more masculine traits than the black men do.
So would
That's
Kanye
what
West,
I'm saying.
Would Kanye West say, hey, P. Diddy's the homosexual, or would he say Clive Davis is the homosexual? And then which one would all of us believe?
Got you. So, yeah, let me finish what I'm saying, right? And I say that to say I'm speaking specifically to certain things. I'm not speaking, about all black men. We have a culture called hip hop. And in our hip hop culture, we have rappers. And these are the people that the young people are looking up to. And these rappers are painting their nails. They have Lil, in the beginning of all their names, most of their names. They're not leading anyone. They're talking about degenerate things, right? Everything is degenerate. They're emotional. They're so emotional. So with that being said, I'm saying that when we look at it, we don't really have a masculine figure to really look at. Now, we got a couple of them. I can name some masculine people in UFC sports and things like that. Or because I'm just thinking about the people that I'm speaking about, kind of the celebrities that people idolize. That's what I'm speaking about, because they have the most influence. Influence creates thinking, thinking creates behavior. So if most of the black people in our community that has the most influence are effeminate, well, then obviously they're going to, the people that's thinking, that's idolizing them, are going to take on their same effeminate characteristic traits. Make sense?
100%.
Got it. So I'm not incorrect on that. I am correct. Can you agree that entertainment, the black culture, we kind of run the entertainment space via hip hop and via multiple black outlets. We kind of run that.
I think
most
it
of
seems
them,
that way. It appears that way.
it appears that way, but we do know that there is a party, the J word,
Exactly.
the white
same
J
reason
word,
why we
that
can't
kind of
speak freely here.
encourages, puts
100%.
forefront the type of degeneracy that they deem that they want to put to forefront. They don't put the forefront like, you get what I'm saying though.
I get
But
it.
yeah,
And I think it's kind of gotten infectious to the children, and now it's become a real thing where what you're saying
correct.
is
But
probably
in regards,
the bigger.
Yeah, but in regards to white people, like, all right, the white people that white men are idolizing, it's more of them, right? One, there's more of them because there's just more white people. Two, there's more masculine ones. So they have more to look at. They have more to adopt certain masculine traits because we tend to identify of who we look like and who we view ourselves as, right?
Hey,
a black man in America, he's not really viewing himself as a white man.
So devil's advocate, this is an interesting point that I might
Sure, go ahead.
I want to interject this just to see what you think about this, because the reality of it is, again, if you look into culturally, and we can even look at the pictures that have come out about Myron, there's all kinds, like, white guys play around in certain ways, right? And black guys don't really do that. Because if my friends would have seen pictures like that, and that's what I'm saying. So in other words, masculinity.
Listen, man, I don't know how white guys play around because I never played with any of them.
I'm talking
so
about.
I don't know.
What I mean by that, come on, man, I'm not no weirdo. But what I mean by that, I'm a football player. I've seen white guys interact and play around in ways that in our culture are not really at all seen or done. When I was growing up, we didn't do that. But my point being, it's not. I don't look at them being exempt from the femininity stuff that's going on. I don't think that white.
White men aren't exempt from the femininity stuff that's going on. I would say they're the ones that's encouraging it and indulging in it.
But that's why real men are uniting on those values. Those real men are uniting on those values you were talking about earlier. Because you know what? Values are universal. Doesn't matter what color you are. You don't want your kids around sexual perversion. If you have any sense, you don't want people hopping over the border. So a few months from now, we'll have a terrorist attack.
Used to be universal. It's not universal anymore. We don't have any shared values. Is because people's values are different, man. I encourage you to look into Karl Marx, man, and also Hegel. I forgot his first name, but these are philosophers that really push forth this feminized egalitarian thinking. Right. Look into those two people. That's where socialism came from, communism came from, fascism was adopted by. Well, fascism is a little bit different. It's totalitarian and it's pretty crazy.
Fugazee, I really appreciate the discourse, bro. It's really been a pleasure. I didn't expect the conversation to go this way or to get this from you, really, but really appreciate it. You're an intellectual brother, and I appreciate the intellectual conversation, my friend.
Blessings to you, man. Blessings to you.
Hey, if you're into firearms, man, I run a gun tube channel that's crazy. It's totally different. So
I do. I got everything.
It's legit stuff. I'm a trainer. If you're ever in Florida, you know what? We
what part of Florida?
North Miami, man. I'm out here, man.
Oh, you in North Miami? Oh, yeah, man. I may be coming out there soon, man. So we can definitely check out a shooting range together. Hit me up on Instagram, bro.
RSO, man. So
hit me up on Instagram at No Fugazee Podcast. We'll talk.
You'll get it.
Peace, man. All right, let's bring up commentary. Man. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? What's going on, man?
Talking to people about everything, man. What's your thoughts on all these conversations?
Woo, man, I don't know where to start. I was looking forward to interacting with Mr. Flat Earther. I haven't interacted with one of them in quite some time, but that's fine. I did. One of the gentlemen came on. I think his name was might have been Clive, might have been somebody else. He had mentioned a pretty funny idea about trying to find a focal point for Black folks to follow that was more secular in nature rather than religious, because there are a lot of folks, like even myself, who aren't religious. However, even I think that may be a fool's folly. There is no real core central cultural zeitgeist like there was back during the civil rights movement. But I think, and that's partially because if you look at, let's say, I'll pick three major factions: manosphere, feminism, and BLM folks. All of them actually have some things in common, and people may not realize this. They all express sort of an animus towards a particular demographic of people, whether it be white people, men, so on and so forth, and they have a vested interest in keeping folks angry. But
Yep.
the issue, though, that I see, like, all of them have their merits. There's definitely a bit of solace brought by people within their respective factions, right? Just like in the manosphere, hey, guys can sit and talk about what it's like to be masculine, what it's like to challenge some of the stuff that you guys mentioned with the emasculation of men in today's world,
Yeah.
and find common ground on it. However, feminism does the same thing. Women can talk about, all the stuff that men have done to them and how they're oppressed. And of course, black folks can talk about systemic racism and stuff. So, but the biggest difference that I see is that there is no step two. We can sit around and we can talk about these things, but at the end of the day, how does this any of these philosophies, movements actually add anything of value to our society? How, if we are embracing whatever philosophy, how does that lead us to creating homes and not just buildings? I'm talking about having men and women raising children to be productive members of society, especially
Yep.
for black folks. And I think that that's where my disconnect is, and I don't necessarily identify with any of those groups because
Yeah, I don't identify with any of them neither. I would say that the thing is, you're looking for one thing, and usually it takes a multitude of things to create balance in the world. The main thing that it will be is that I think that since the beginning of time, I mean, in the Torah and all the old texts, there's always been these same struggles that we're experiencing now. Spiritual battles and a battle of values. And I think that we've always tried to find a way to balance ourselves, to find that, that what you just spoke about, like, how can we truly come together as men and women and have a family and produce good members in society as a whole? How can we come together with that? Now, you have great philosophers and some, crazy philosophers, but there's a big think tank out there of people that's been trying to think of ways to do this. You got Hegel, you got Marx. They pretty much came up with a whole different religion to try to equalize everything, to try to create a utopia here on earth. You got capitalism, free market capitalism, conservatism. They've been trying to, and they're come from a root of a traditional values that's biblical from some sense. I mean, America was kind of created off of some Christian values. But yeah, so you've had different people, trying this, right? And the thing is, it isn't gonna work. I don't think it can work. I don't think that there's anything truthfully that we can do for all of us to come together as a whole, right? It's too much degeneracy. It's too far gone. It's too far going now, and it was too far going thousands of years ago. Jesus is the answer, because that's my belief. That's what I truly believe. It's the only man that can actually, create the balance in the world. With that being said, though, I would say that we should still strive and push the needle forward to be the best versions of ourselves, and still strive to have and obtain exactly what you stated as a nuclear family and producing good members in society. The only way that we do that, though, is by going towards a religious path. The three main religions, the three main Abrahamic religions has always pushed the needle forward for a multitude of things as far as good and evil, right? But
Sure.
It isn't the word, it's the people that leads people astray. It isn't really the word, as far as I can say, I'm a Christian. It isn't the word of Jesus that's leading people astray. It's the people that's leading people astray, because people don't follow the word. People are, sinful, have a sinful nature, and that is what it is. It's always going to be like that. So there's no way to get rid of sin. I think that's the main thing we're speaking about here. We strip everything down to its pure layer, right? How do we get rid of sin, right? To produce, so everyone can have shared values and produce good members of society. The only way to do that is to get rid of sin. Can we truly get rid of sin? No. So what should we do? Well, we should try to stay on a righteous path and follow the word of Jesus Christ, or whatever your religion is. I think that as a whole of people, as a country, put it like this. All right, you got, for example, hypothetical. Everyone in America, let's say if everyone in America shared values, shared the same Christianity
Everybody
values.
had the same denomination.
Same denomination, shared the same values, and that's what they were all striving towards. We're all sinful still, so you still gonna fall, right? Even though you shared values, the thing is this: people say that they shared values, but they don't actually act on the values that they tend to say that they share. They kind of like
cultural Christians, yeah.
Cultural Christians and stuff like that, cultural Muslims and stuff like that. So is anyone truly, really following the book? Yeah, I could find some people out there that's truly, really following the book. Am I truly, really following the book? No, I'm not. I could be honest. I'm no Fugazee. I'm not truly, really following the book to its core, right? So with that being said, it's like, but I do think Jesus is the only pathway out. What's your thoughts?
Yes, I would have to strongly disagree with that. I think that.
So you think man could get themselves out of this pickle that we're in?
I think it's going to be a bit more complicated, because if we've seen in history, if we go back to the Protestant Reformation, for instance, we've seen where people were a monolith, a very strong monolith, a very religious group of folks that had very similar values. But what ended up happening is over time, those values evolved. And then that's how we get the emergence of new Protestant religions. And there's, hundreds now of different Protestant religions just alone. We're going to include some of the European Christian denominations. And so I think if it were that simple, we would not have all of these divisions of Christians that currently exist.
Well, there's a reason to why values evolved. Values shouldn't evolve, right? If we can all agree that, God over man, man over woman, woman over children, the man should lead the household. There's only two genders, male and female. Thou shalt not kill, steal, or drink until it's intoxication. Thou shalt not, abort. It isn't the values that. Values shouldn't change. The thing is that things change in the world. Culture, thing is this, man. How it's been in the past, it's always been theology enforced culture, and culture enforced politics. That was the line. So there was shared values, theology, and that was passed down in the culture, and then it passed down into the laws that we create and everything. The thing is that people, the culture, moved away from theology, and now the culture, since they moved away from theology, they don't have any shared values. It's degenerate. So it's degeneracy is what's informing politics, right? So this is what I'm trying to tell you. We moved away from that. So you said that, well, I don't think that, pretty much like religion is the way. God is the way. I think that maybe somewhere we could find it within. Together, I don't think that we can, because theology is divinity, So it's like we have to seek something higher than ourselves. So if we're not coming together with shared values, seeking something that's higher than ourselves, then it's going to lead people astray. The culture is going to be, ruined and destroyed, which is then our politics will be too. And we're living in it now.
So I think what you're referencing is divine command ethics, if I'm not mistaken.
You can say divine command ethics, yeah.
Okay. So I can see, yeah, you have a central figurehead, you have a patron deity that everyone, shows reverence towards, and then you have a system of morals underneath that.
Correct.
That everyone can follow. And I think there is absolutely conformity that is enforced through that. However, so we have seen instances where societies have embraced their theology, specifically in the Middle East, with Muslims. Like, we have examples in the modern age of theological society. They have theocracies, and they do enforce these. So I think my question is, should we recreate, let's say, for instance, Iran, just in a Christian sense, in our society? And would that be, I guess, like the panacea to sort of cure all the things that we've been speaking about tonight?
Okay, you said that should we what again? I'm sorry,
It's okay. Yeah, man. I know you're getting hungry. It's late, man. It's cool.
No, you good. I was fixing my headphones. At the last ending, you said should we what?
Should we institute essentially a Christian version of Iran here in America? Should we create a theocracy here in America in order to enforce the values that you want to instill, that you purport to say that these will actually help solve all of the multitude of issues that we've been talking about tonight?
I would speak about it very simple, right? Just so the chat can understand what we're speaking about too. Mm-hmm. For example, if me and you share the same values, right? And we found, and me and you have a family, right?
Yes. I
got a family too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say me and you share the same values. And we found 1,000 other men that have families and share the same values too. And we put them in a city, right? And that 1,000 that share the same values turned into, 100,000. And that 100,000 turned into 100 million. Now we got a country, right? Then over here we have people, they don't share the same values. They don't share the same values. They have common interests and they do business together. And a multitude of other things, but their values isn't truly shared. Some are lesbian, some are gay, and they promote that. Some are conservative, some are liberal. They don't incentivize marriages like we do over here in our shared values. In our shared values, when you're married for 20 years, you get a tax cut. You don't have to pay any property tax, or any taxes at all. Only thing you have to pay is, sales tax, or if you purchase some taxes there, but you don't pay taxes on your home at all. Or any businesses that you start. And you also get a business for free. And that business that you start, if you're married for 20 years, don't pay any taxes at all either. Once you're married for 20 years, you get that benefit. You don't have to pay any taxes anymore. So we incentivize marriages. So within these values, shared values that we have, since we prioritize the nuclear family, we're growing a lot. We're growing bigger than any population because we are incentivizing people to be married. And we are incentivizing, since we are incentivizing marriage, that means that we are disincentivizing, what'd you say?
Broken homes.
Broken homes and all of these other things. Over here is kind of free for all. No shared marriages, just, free open capital, free open market capitalism, which is, fine, but there's no shared values. That's the only thing that they're going with, which is kind of what we go with as well, too. But who do you think would, produce more virtuous members of society?
I think when we talk about virtue, I think we have to be very specific. If we're talking about in terms of sexual proclivities, for instance, uh, having sex only within marriage, and like a virtue like that, and disincentivizing promiscuity. I think
Yeah.
in that sense, in sexual purity, absolutely, there's a demonstrable effect that has with reducing the amount of single parents and broken households, so on and so forth. I would actually agree with you. The population of people that you described would ultimately be more successful because you have the ability to build stability and then generational wealth and so on and so
Got it.
forth.
Now my question is, how would we get there? And my answer is, let's see if you have a different answer. My answer is the only way we get to having these shared values in this utopia of even though it's going to be pros and cons, everyone in this shared value system isn't going to be good members of society because we are all still within sin and have a sinful nature, but we would still produce better, more better members of society than that other country. that doesn't have these shared values like we have. So we'll be doing better over here. Now, the question is, how do we get there? And I'm saying that the only way we get there is we don't just come up with these things, or like we don't try to come up with a secular way of it. Like, oh, well, my like secular is all preferences. Well, and there's no objective morality, right? Like religious people tend to believe in objective morality because like God said so. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Secular,
But what you just described, that God's will is a preference that He has, right? For sin versus not sin, that would be.
but
God
it's
prefers
with
non-sin.
so much epistemology and so much information, so much knowledge throughout thousands of years. Like we have something to back it up with. Not only that, the thing is meaning, right? Like religious people, we find meaning. We can find meaning on earth, but we can also find meaning outside of what's on earth. The secularists are only capable of finding meaning on earth. They don't have the ability to find meaning outside of earth. And I'm meaning like here on earth and how we're living, right? So when struggles happen and people go through traumas and situations, bad things happen, the only way they find meaning through it is here on earth with the secularists. But with the religious people, we're able to find meaning here on earth too when things are going bad, but we also are able to find meaning that's something that's divine, outside of earth, outside of this human experience. So the secularists, their way of finding meaning is always going to be thin, much thinner than ours, because we can find more meaning. This is why, and we see it here even now. We can speak about, which is crazy, but we could speak about like the people that be like, "Hello, Akbar," and blow themselves up. You know what I'm saying? You got some instances of that because like their meaning is like beyond earth, like the reasons why they're doing it. And then we also have people that's here, it's secularist. They'll maybe shoot up a school or something like that. I think most of them are actually pretty religious though.
Probably.
But probably are. I think so. But anyways, yeah, you get what I'm saying. So like
I
the
understand.
secularists, their meaning that they can find is always too thin. We are always going to
It's going to be
outcompete them.
empirical. It's almost exclusively, I would say, empirical. And I get what you mean by that.
Do you agree to that though?
So I don't necessarily agree.
You don't agree to that? What?
No, because
Okay.
so I understand absolutely. So the trappings of the religious, right? There's going to be more than just the empirical. There's more than just the physical realm. There's more to life in the earth and everything else outside of just what you see. I understand that very well. Speaking to many theists for many years, and there is a bit of wonder that opens up when you sort of entertain that idea. However, I
Yeah.
am a very empirical based guy. I'm a results guy. If we both say, from a religious and a non-religious standpoint, that having a nuclear family and generational wealth is efficacious towards building a society of black folks doing well. Well, you could tell me from a religious standpoint that yes, this is what God wants. I can tell you from an empirical standpoint that this has been demonstrated with data, right? So at the end of the day, the result is the same. It's the exact same. The religious person has more trappings and can ascribe a more supernatural essence to it, but at the end of the day, it's still the same thing. And so what I would counter with that, you know what? Let's keep the religious aspect of it. Let's not disincentivize people who want to embrace their religious beliefs and follow this. But let's all coalesce with one another around a shared set of values that have a demonstrable positive effect on society. So whether it's a non-religious household that wants to create generational wealth or a religious household that wants to create generational wealth, both can work towards those same goals and have those same values and also respect each other's way about doing it.
Well, here's my question for you. I don't think it's capable, and we're living in it now. Let's just play it out hypothetically, right? So you said that you both can live together and one can be religious and one can be secular, and they can, live in equal harmony and be fine together and live good as long as they share values.
In an idealistic world.
In an idealistic world, yeah. So the reason why I don't think it sounds good, but it doesn't work in practice is because the values that the secularists would share, it can match up pretty good, but it would never be the same values. Because the values when you believe in God, maybe I'll say it again because maybe you didn't truly understand it. But if you don't believe in God, there's a problem with meaning, because the meaning that you create yourself is always going to be too thin to handle suffering. And secularists always fall short when it comes to that. Suffering is going to happen in this world. It's always going to be problems. And the thing is, I hope I don't have the statistics on it, but I'm pretty sure more people that off themselves probably secular. Pretty sure. And I would say versus the people that are religious but actually not just say they're religious, but practice their religion. That's the difference. So the people that actually practice their religion and they're religious, they're Christians, let's just go with that one, they're definitely not off in themselves how secularist is. Because suffering happens and you're more prone to, give up in life or succumb to depression and anxiety when you're only looking for meaning here. Because if your circumstances isn't the best, where else do you have to look for meaning for if you're only looking for it here? If you're raised in the projects, raised in a third world country where the water isn't clean and there isn't really enough calories to feed your kids and stuff like that, whatever the situation is, the secularists that don't believe in something that's higher than themselves, their meaning would always fall short to someone that believes in God and a higher power. Because we get our meaning from not just here, that's not just the stuff that's on earth, but the things that's outside of earth. Not just our family and our friends. We don't go for them to find meaning. Or I have kids, I need to find my meaning there. The secularists, we can get all that same meaning that the secularists can too. But the thing with the religious people that actually follow their religion and practice it, right, and actually believe in God, well, no. You could cut off all my limbs. As long as I got this hair, I'm golden, dog. You're not destroying me. I believe in something that's higher than myself. I will not succumb to depression and anxiety. I would not succumb to, the traumas that the world brung on me. I would always overcome those things because I believe in something, no matter what my situation is, because I believe in something that's higher than myself. So if we're creating a community, right? And my community, they have these shared values and they believe in something higher than themselves, they're always able to overcome suffering better than the secularist people that only believe in, the things that's here on earth. It's like, bro, I got 2 apples, you got 1 apple. Who gonna have more to eat? I'm always gonna have more to eat because I got everything you got, but then I got this here, which is God. So it's like you always fall short. Does that make sense?
I understand where you're coming from.
You don't agree with it though? All right.
I don't necessarily agree with it. No, because
How don't you though? Explain to me. I want to know now. Go ahead. Talk.
Yeah. So if you have so kind of in your worldview, you know what? Hey, we can. The physical realm is great, but if there's something more than the physical that I have tapped into, then I obviously have more. You may not be able to define it, you may not be able to touch it, but as a theist, you're going to inherently have more. Is that your argument?
Yes. And I know that because I argue with people just before, they could say, well, I don't believe in God, but I could just make up God in my head and have just as much as you have. So that was probably your next argument,
that argument before.
Oh, you heard that argument before? Okay, well, I'll let you go what you was going to say. Go ahead.
So I would say, you know what? It's if we were to look at, let's say we'll do depression, I would love to look at the statistics per capita of people who are depressed in each respective population, religious and non-religious. I from what I remember, we'll just go with happiness. One of the happiest countries in the world just so happens to not be too religious. So, but if we look conversely at the incredibly religious regimes like Iran, for instance, what's the level of happiness there? What is the level of prosperity in societies that are theocracies? Are they doing better than societies that are not theocracies? And I keep pointing to Iran, but there are other examples of that. And they typically don't do well in the modern world, in the industrial world, I should say, not in the modern world. But go ahead.
Happiness is a metric.
It's subjective.
That is super, super subjective. And it's happiness is something that any person in their right mind, they wouldn't seek happiness because happiness is fleeting. Happiness is an emotion. So you seeking something that's fleeting all the time. That's like if you're seeking after, like you're prioritizing. Let's do something better than seeking. Like you're prioritizing happiness. Well, I mean, a lot of degenerate stuff can make you happy too. Sure. So happiness isn't a metric of success. A metric of success is prioritizing purpose and duty, and what outcomes you have from that. But yeah, happiness is something that I don't think anyone in their logical right mind should ever prioritize. But yeah, man, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I know the stats that there's definitely some countries out there that's definitely more happier than, some religious countries for sure. Amsterdam. I mean, you could do anything you want out there. I'm sure they're very happy. Like, there's many things that we could just speak about it personally, anecdotally. There's many things that make me happy. You know what I mean?
But will they make you fulfilled?
That's the thing. Many things that'll make me happy, but it wouldn't make me fulfilled. And I think that you find fulfillment by finding your purpose and being on your purpose. So that's what I think. Okay. What's your thoughts on that?
I definitely feel that it's
okay.
I think though in the modern world things have gotten more complicated because you just don't have one or two factions of people, like we were talking about earlier with in respect to the populations, the religious versus non-religious.
Yeah.
In the modern world, in today's world, we have they don't like to be called Black Hebrew Israelites or just Israelites. We have people in the conscious community. We have obviously Christians. We have different And so as black folks, I don't think that we're going to disabuse anyone of many of these beliefs. I don't think that that's going to happen, but there's definitely an ability for us to share a common core set of values, and the
Yeah.
fulfillment that we get from that, or I would say the fulfillment, the consequences of that can bring prosperity across the board, but they simply have to be shared and also enforced. And so
Yeah, if
there
we
is
have,
yeah.
I agree. If we shared a few core values, we could do much better than we're doing now.
Absolutely, and I think just let me as an aside, if there are Christians who think that, you know what, I want to show that my way, right, my particular Christian beliefs are the best way, then being exemplars, being shepherds of that in society would probably be the number one way to achieve that. But unfortunately, like we spoke about before, there are people who are culturally Christian who, you know, they're having tons of kids out of wedlock and creating broken homes. And it's like, well, what sort of values are you actually
Are
holding?
you
And so,
holding? Yeah,
yeah. And so for other people who have different beliefs, it's like you hold this label, this title, but what does it actually mean? If you are behaving like a secularist, you know, quote unquote, and you hold this
correct.
title, then it's meaningless.
It's
And so,
meaningless. Yes,
yeah, and
and
that's even as somebody from my standpoint, I see that. And so I know that that's a
correct.
problem. I can only imagine someone who's religious seeing that and what they're thinking, you know?
Yeah, no, correct. Yeah, no, you're right. And I agree to that on every count. I would say that as far as finding, I'm trying to go back to when you said, you know, shared values between the religious and the secularist. I would say that if they shared some core values, it would be much better than we are now. The problem is that it's hard to share. Let's say this. Even if you have a religious person and they're on their religious path, they're not withering away. They're following the book to the T, and they have these core values. And you get the thing is, secularists is like, they don't really have any core values because where does it come from? It's your preferences, really. So you get what I'm saying? Like your shared, the values that secularists had is preferences when we strip it down to the bone. It's just preferences. I like this. I think this is cool. This is my preference. So this is what I'm going to have. If you can have the secularists, you know, encourage them to obtain some core values like family and you know, no rainbow flag stuff and, you know, some actual core values, right?
Yeah, I know. I understand.
If you can get them to follow that, I'm saying this, it's easier for the religious to get people to follow their core values because it's like in stone. But the secularist is like all preferences. Like how can you
the same conclusion?
Yeah, how can you come to the same conclusion? Because it's like they'll just be like, well, I don't really, you know, want to do that. And even the religious people is going to be like that too. Of course, they move away. We got, you know, religious people believing in LGBTQ and all of that stuff too. We got that. So this is what I'm saying. Even if the religious people have still been infiltrated by the influences of LGBTQ and all of this degeneracy, well, god dang, do you think that the secularists can really uphold some core values?
You would be surprised. There are people in the secular community that don't actually abide by that. Believe it or not.
I do know some people that I've actually know some people, not actually friends, but I know some people that definitely uphold some core values and they don't believe in God or anything religious at all. But they do hold some core values. Sam Harris, I believe he's one of them. He holds some core values, and he's fully atheist. And that's what he kind of speaks about. That's what he tries to say, like, bro, I do everything y'all religious people do and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm fine. But it's like, you do it, bro. Good for you. But can you try to convince everyone else to do it with not using, you know, a divine being, something that's not on earth? No.
Yeah, it depends. I'll break it down like, I guess, the systems of ethics. So religious people typically adhere to divine command theory, right? There's a divine being, whether you believe in Allah, you know, Jesus Christ, so on and so forth. They issue edicts. It's codified. in a book, an anthology, in this case, the Bible, and
Yep.
then you follow it. It's pretty simple. For someone who's secular, you can look towards a different system. You can look towards consequentialism, right? What's the consequences of a particular set of actions? Or you have a set of virtues. You can look toward virtue ethics. And then, okay, so what virtues are we going to look at and then possibly codify them in some way, shape, or form? Now, how people follow it, how it's enacted, that's another question. And I think that's where things get more complicated. But it's absolutely possible to come to those same conclusions, not arbitrarily, but through a somewhat rigorous system of looking at the consequences for certain actions and the benefits from them.
Consequences to certain actions and the benefits to certain actions. But here, you're always going to have a problem with finding meaning. Like, this is what I'm trying to, it goes back to the meaning part. Like,
so Alex, I'll ask you this actually now on meaning, because we keep skipping over that actually. So what meaning do you think a secular person has in their life, if you could guess?
I mean, a secular person can have tons of meaning in their life. Their meaning can be of their own physical bodies themselves, right? I want to live, so, I find meaning in my own life. They can find meaning in music and art and family and friends. They find meaning in everything that's here on earth. Everything. The thing is that their meaning will always weigh too thin when it comes to suffering, because when suffering happens, since the meaning that they find is here on earth, then their suffering has a higher probability of outweighing their meaning. Versus the religious people, they find meaning just as well on earth like the secularists, but they also believe in something higher than themselves. So that's where they can find meaning, here on earth, but also something higher than themselves. So, which gives them a higher probability than a secularist to find meaning to deal with suffering. Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying. There's a better coping mechanism for suffering for the religious as opposed to the non-religious.
If you want to use coping mechanism, I'm use coping mechanism.
I'm trying to sort of pin it down to something really specific, because if we're talking about suffering, you have to be able to cope with it or deal with it in some constructive manner, and not, let's say, turn to drugs or alcohol or something of that nature.
I don't believe that is coping, right? So what does belief mean? What is, like, how do you truly believe in something? Like, what's the difference of believing in something and knowing something, or experiencing something? Like, these words have different meanings: belief, knowing, experiencing. Belief is, don't matter what you experience, right? Don't matter what you know. Maybe not even be able to prove it. But you believe in it, right? And the belief that they have is not I wouldn't point it to a coping mechanism, because the belief is not here on earth. The belief is not here within. The belief is without, right? So it's like, to give an analogy, perspective versus perception. Perception, everyone has perception. Everyone's perception is unique. It's unique to them. And it's the way you view the world in your own little box. Perspective, I think the CIA gave some results on it. It's like only like 2% of people actually have the ability to have a true perspective about things. 98% of people only operate in their own perception. Perspective is the art of viewing the world outside of yourself. So that's an analogy. So if you look at the two, who would be able, if you look at those two people, a person that just operates from their own perception, or the person that operates from, they got their own perception, but they also have the ability to view the world outside of their own perspective. Who's more empathetic? person number 2 that has perspective? Who's more able to deal with, struggles and adversities, overcome adversities, let's say? Who's more able to overcome adversities? Person number 2, person that has perspective, they see the world outside of themselves. Who's more likely to be aware and perspicacious? Person number 2. Who's more likely just to get ahead in life, right? Person number 2 that has perspective. So it's like, when it comes to religion and secularists, secularists always fall short because they find their meaning only here on earth. So suffering will always overpower it. And it's not saying that suffering doesn't overpower the religious either. No, suffering do overpower the religious people as well too. But we just have something more to go to, something higher to go to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Yeah. So there's another tier that the religious sort of has access to. Yeah,
and it's not exactly but the distinguish is not coping. Like we can say coping because the definition of coping, we can say that it could, if you don't believe in God, we can definitely put it on there. It's like, it kind of fits into that, right? I get what you're saying, because I don't want to have that argument of semantics.
I don't want to get into semantics.
Yeah. I would just agree. I'll concede there. But I would still say that is not exactly coping, is because the belief is not here. It's beyond yourself.
So, okay. Yeah, I think there's definitely another layer. We'll say another layer to it.
So it's another layer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's another layer to it. And I absolutely agree that is a part of the trappings of I would say almost every religious person. I think it just, in my view, that it's almost unnecessary if the results are the same. We can dress up any number of avenues and go down any number of paths, but essentially, if the results are the same, what does it truly matter? If we're all on board with just, I would just say at a basic level, a social contract,
core values. Say that. I'm sorry. Say that again.
Oh, so I said we can go down any number of values or any number of avenues, excuse me, and if we're arriving to the same destination, right, as far as these results, these tangible results in reality, it's almost immaterial to the discussion, because if what we're saying here in this discussion is that the religious side is preferable because there's another layer to it for that person that defines their meaning, then that's fine. That's absolutely fine, because it's important to that individual or that group of individuals that shares that. Ultimately, that's unique to the person, right? And their personal proclivities. But for me, it's almost superficial, because for me, looking towards the results, those would really matter, because you can have someone who's religious that has access to that next layer, who is a bit more has a bit more depth to them in that. But if they're operating in the same environment, what is the demonstrable difference between them if the results are almost exactly the same?
Well, I mean, you're assuming if the results are the same.
So I'll just give you an example. There's two households, there's one that's non-religious. And
like this a hypothetical, you mean?
Yeah, hypothetical.
Okay, got it.
There's a society, part of the society is secular, part of the society is some denomination of Christian. Both of them have a social contract. They agree that having a nuclear family is what is to be obtained, and creating a progeny, right? Their children and their children's children that are productive members of society. Wherein then is the big difference, other than that layer, right? Because you say, hey, there's another layer to it for the religious. If the results are exactly the same, right, then where is the issue other than someone's personal preference to have the religious trappings?
Yeah, hypothetically, I would agree. Hypothetically, I would agree. I would say that if the outcomes were the same, hypothetically, yeah.
Okay.
Totally fine. I agree.
Okay.
Concede that point, right?
Yeah.
But the argument isn't like the argument isn't that. The argument isn't the argument is how to obtain those outcomes, right? That's the argument I'm making.
Okay.
And the argument I'm making is how to obtain the utopia lifestyle. It's the probability is going to be much lower for the secularists, because the religious people can use everything on earth to find meaning, to deal with suffering, and have an extra layer, which is God. And they still fall short. Well, what the freak do you think is happening with the secularists?
They would fall even shorter in your example because they don't have the extra. Okay, I see what you're making. So I'll tell you what, man, it's been almost 3 hours, and I know your food getting cold.
Yeah.
We're going to continue it later, all right?
Hey, brother, always good to have you on, man. Hey,
Absolutely.
Commentary, you want to shout out anything?
Oh, yeah. You guys are big fans of news and stuff like that. Check out my boy, Nate the Lawyer. He's actually a personal friend of mine. So I do stuff on my own channel, too. I'm going to be uploading some more content.
Want to shout out your channel, bro?
Yeah. If you type in Commentary King or Commentary King Official on YouTube, you'll find me. If you want to, my old YouTube name was Dragnaut, and I've been on, some secular, shows and stuff like that. And so back in the past, but I've sort of moved away from a lot of that. And so I'm moving more into the social space because I think for me, unity amongst folks is important to me. Regardless of sort of what we believe, there's some core tenets and core beliefs that we can all sort of coalesce around.
I agree. We definitely share a lot of core tenets and some core values. So as far as like those things that you said, I agree with that part for sure. Like if a religious person and a secular person, if they actually share some core values, I mean, life could be good. They can get along in a community great. That's what I do believe. But fair enough, bro. Always good to have you on. Yo, I'll have you on to do that debate with the Flat Earther.
Yeah, let me know. I'm game.
I'll let you know because he's I'm gonna hit him up on Instagram. And then, did you ever message the No Fugazee page yet or no?
On Instagram, yes, yeah.
Did my assistant reply back or anything or no?
Yes, they did.
Okay, they reply back. All right, so I'll speak with my assistant. I'll message you back personally, and I'll set it up between you two. We get a date, and I'll do my research on Flat Earth and stuff like that too. Even though I'm not on that side, but I'm still gonna do research, and we can have that debate, man. I think it'd be dope.
Okay, hey, I'm here for it. All
right, brother. Have a blessed one.
All right, you too. Hey.
We got 6J and Sean. Man, you know what? Got 3 more people in here. It's been going for 3 hours, bro. I'm gonna have to let y'all go. Wednesday, next week on Wednesday, come back. And I'm doing another live stream. Try to get in here early, man. I'll bring you up 6. I'll bring you up Jay. Jay, you said you just listening. Okay, trying to learn. I respect that. And Sean, I'll bring you up as well next time, man. But other than that, man, everyone that's been supporting, let me get to the super chats before I go. Let's see here. All right, we got Quanell Williams sends in $10. She went through my phone and saw other women Texas, but she stayed. Should I be worried? She went through your phone and she saw you was texting other girls, bro. Should you be worried as a man? No, man, you bigger, stronger, taller. Why are you worried about a girl for? But she's most likely going to bring it up. I'm sure she's probably scorned from it. So, she's going to bring that up for sure. Is most likely going to cause problems in your relationship. Is it something that you can overcome in a relationship? Yeah, it's something you can overcome. Gonna have to change your ways though. And she's gonna have to see that. And you did what you did. You can still lead the relationship and lead the woman and you could do that with not losing frame. But I'll speak on it more, man. If you want some real insight into your situation, if an explosion happens, just hit the link in the description. I do one-on-one coaching. I'll help you out, give you some tips on how to still hold frame with that situation and how to still maintain that. But yeah, man, don't be worried. She's a girl. This guy said, should I be worried? Holiday Tone says in $2, we all know what happened last time you had Five Guys. Holiday Tone, you funny, bro. Yo, man, I ordered Five Guys. I didn't even get to get it. So I did a late order too. It was closing. I'm going to probably have to go there with my receipt, my phone, and they going to have to make me another order tomorrow because they closed. So I ain't even get a chance to pick it up, man. But without further ado, then we got more people that came in. Art and Real Estate Dan. Yo, Art and Real Estate Dan, especially Sean and Six. Wednesday, next week on Wednesday is another debate night, and I bring supporters on to come up here and chop it up with me. But the next podcast is going to be this Friday at 8 p.m. around 9. This Friday around like 9:30 p.m. we go live with the girls. I think we having about 4 to 6 women on the podcast. So stay tuned to that this Friday. And then this type of stream will be next week on Wednesday. But I'll leave y'all to it, man. Thank you for supporting. Before you go ahead and like the podcast so it gets pushed into the algorithm. Next time, I'm not doing a stream this long until y'all get the likes up. So yeah, it's gonna be short. But other than that, we out. Actually, Gabby, off. You done. And you want to leave too? This is how our relationship goes. God over man, man over woman, woman over children.